School District would like to welcome you to historic Christus Trinity Mother Francis Mike Carter Field for Game 2 of this Class 2A Region 3 Finals between the Harleton Wildcats, the winners of District 19 2A, and the Douglas Indians, the winners of District 22 2A. Harleton leads the series 1 game to none after winning last night 4-1. If a third game is necessary, it will be played 30 minutes after the completion of this game. Just a reminder, Mike Carter Field is a no-smoking venue. The use of chewing gum and sunflower seeds is also prohibited. Please show great fan sportsmanship today. Cheer for your team, not against the visitors. Don't get personal in your comments about players, coaches, or officials.
Well, good afternoon, everybody. This is Keith Whitman along with Bret Sweeney here at Mike Carter Field for Game 2 of the 2A Regional Final. Bret, how you doing this afternoon, man?
I am a little warm, Keith. It is a little warm, but I will say, if there had to be a place we had to play out in the heat, I would pick this place.
Yeah, we are.
We're underneath the pavilion,
and
a lot of our friends here from Douglas and Harleton have kind of migrated towards us today. I know it's a weird thing. You get out, it's sunny, and they come underneath the shade. I don't know what it is.
Right. Well, last night they were all out, you know, in the stands, out there close to the netting and close to the field, and today they're right behind us and in the shade and getting away from that sun. It is rather warm out there, but it's hot on that field because we're going to play some great East Texas baseball here at Mike Carter Field. Last night's game was a good game 1. Harleton came away with a win, with a 4-1 win over the Indians of Douglas. Douglas looking to bounce back and force a game 3 because they've got to do it. It's a win or go home situation for the Indians today. So they're kind of back against the wall. They got to get it done today.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see. We'll have 2 different pitchers. We got Peyton Bragg going for Douglas today, and Dylan Armstrong for Harleton. So we talked about the pitching matchup last night, and between you had Bobo and you had Wallace, and it was a great pitching duel. These 2 teams have depth at pitching, so I expect more of the same. And so I think it's going to come down. A big portion of this game is going to come down to how well the pitchers go, because you know as better as I do. You could pitch an excellent game last week, but this week you might just not have it. So we'll see who has it today and who can keep the other team off the board.
And like you said, Wallace did a fantastic job putting in 11 strikeouts last night against Douglas, sitting them down. So we didn't really get to see Douglas at bat. We didn't get to see their bats. They didn't really have an opportunity because Wallace just did a fantastic job. Let's not take away from Drew Bobo of the Indians. He did a great job. Kept really Harleton to 2 runs up until the very last inning, around the 6th inning last night, when it kind of the bottom fell out. So great pitching matchup last night. We're going to see another one tonight as the lineups are being read. We're going to do that for you real quick. And the lineup for the Indians, batting first, Drew Bobo, Andy Milton followed, Peyton Bragg, then Gavin Robinson in cleanup as DH, Jace Bobo, Riley Kaufman, followed by Luke Niver and Colton Carnes, and Garrett Carnes in the 9th spot. In the outfield, in left to right, Garrett Carnes, Drew Bobo in center field, and Luke Niver in right. In the infield, Andy Melton in third, Riley Kaufman at short, Kason Standridge at second base, Jace Bobo at first, Colton Carnes behind the plate, and on the mound for the Indians tonight is Peyton Bragg. For the Wildcats, you have leading things off Dylan Armstrong, Gage Church to follow, Carson Wallace with Mason Clark in the cleanup, Sean Booth following, Braden Hopkins, Tanner Tate, and then there's Peyton Murray in the DH with Cameron Johnson in the 9th spot. In the outfield, left to right, Carson Wallace in left field, Gage Church in center, Cameron Johnson in right at third, Caden Skaggs, Sean Booth at short, Tanner Tate at second, Braden Hopkins at first with Mason Clark behind the plate, and Dylan Armstrong on the mound for the Wildcats. What are your thoughts for today's game?
Well, things I'm looking for, like I said earlier, I'm looking for the pitcher matchup. I'm looking to see, you get this far in the playoffs, you got to have more than one pitcher. So we know how well Harleton pitched, and so did Douglas last night. So we'll see the pitchers today, Bragg and Armstrong. We'll see how well they do. We also interested to see what kind of mistakes and big plays we have today.
So before the game, we're going to go to the field for the national anthem. And we're about ready to go here for this game 2 here at Mike Carter Field. Lovely place here. We've done a couple of games here. This is our actually third or I believe fourth game.
Maybe our home away from home kind of, Keith.
I think so. A good place to be as any. And a good crowd trickling in. Still, it is it's hard to believe. You know, Bret and I work in schools. It's summertime. We do work all year round, but we get Fridays off. I can't believe it's Friday.
It is Friday. We still have Saturday tomorrow.
Yeah, we have kind of a weekend thing going. So, yeah, it's a little bit different, but there is a crowd trickling in. If you are watching, however, or listening, we want to thank you for doing that. If you're listening on our YouTube channel, go ahead and like and subscribe. That way you'll be able to be a part of every sports event that we have.
And let us know where you're watching from today.
Yeah, go ahead and chat with us. We have that chat feature there. We like to hear from everybody.
See how far, let us know where you're watching from.
Yeah, we do play that game where we get to see how far away people
Nobody
are.
played last night. Come on, today we need somebody to play.
In their defense, we did not introduce the game.
Well, we are this time. Okay, so we want to know where you're watching, who you're rooting for, specifically a player and team.
Right.
If you're rooting for your long-lost cousin from a Harleton or Douglas, let us know. We'd like to know that. We appreciate you for tuning in, and we're about to get started here. And the thing is, Douglas is going to be the home team to this game.
They are. Douglas
so
is the
it
home
could
team.
come down to that last at bat here, because this game, I have a feeling it's going to be that way.
So here we go. Dylan Armstrong leading things off. Here's the first pitch, and it's going to be down in the dirt for ball 1.
The umpires, the Blues, you call them, in their blues today. They didn't wear their black today.
No,
I don't know why.
I wouldn't either.
I don't know why.
Here's the second pitch. That's going to be in there for a strike. A little check swing by Dylan Armstrong, but I don't think it would have mattered as that was right over the plate. And it's 1-1 the count. Bragg looking in. Good high kick. That's going to be hit. And that's through past the third baseman as Melton tried to get it, but it's out there to Carnes there in left field. And a base hit. And a base runner for the Wildcats early. And that puts Gage Schertz to the plate with one on and nobody out. I believe we're going to have a courtesy runner. That's because Armstrong is our pitcher for the Wildcats. I'll get you that courtesy runner's name here shortly. Here's the pitch. That's going to be a high fly ball into center field. It's going to be short center field, however, and Drew Bobo, there's two of them on the team. Drew Bobo in center field comes up, makes the catch, and that's out number 1. That was a one pitch out there.
Yeah, those are always nice ones to
It
get.
is nice. Can you see that number over there at first for the courtesy runner as Carson Wallace steps in, left-hander. He was the pitcher on the mound for the Wildcats last night.
We'll see if I can
Here's that pitch.
Oh.
That's a fly ball, but that's going to be high and out of play.
It's number 11, Keith.
That is number 11. That's going to be
Evan Vance.
Yeah, Vance played left field last night.
So he's going to probably be our courtesy runner this evening.
Yeah, he's going to be the courtesy runner probably for Armstrong all night long. And Wallace steps in.
I mean, Wallace he got a hold of that one just a little bit too early.
Yeah, he put a little bit of stank on that swing. And Bragg looks in, checks the runner at first, and brings the pitch. That's going to be hit. That's going to go to Kaufman. Kaufman bobbles again. And the struggles from last night continue today. I was going to mention that he had issues last night holding on to the ball. And they're going to hit him with an E6 really early in this ball game. And now there's 2 on with 1 out for Mason Clark.
I'm gonna go ahead and hit my keys already there.
We hit it. Didn't hit till about the 5th or 6th inning last night, as Mason Clark, who was hit by a pitch at his first at bat last night.
You got to help your pitcher there. You don't want to make him have any unnecessary struggles here, especially this first inning.
Here's the pitch by Bragg. That's going to be straight down the middle for strike 1. A good pitch. And Kaufman's going to need to shake that off and keep that from happening in this game if Douglas wants to make a game 3 out of this one. Bragg checks the runner at second from the stretch. And here's the pitch. A good little breaking ball. That's going to be a high popper over. And Melton with the fielder's choice and didn't have any other choice but to go to first. And Jace Bobo gets that one. And a 5-3 put out puts 2 outs on the board. However, it does put runners at second and third for the Wildcats.
Well, still got the 2 outs here. And so if you're Bragg, just worry about getting the batter.
Yep, and Booth watches that one go by beautifully by Bragg as he gets strike 1. So Bragg brings the second pitch. That's going to be fouled backwards into the net. And that's going to make it no balls and 2 strikes to Sean Booth. So runners on second and third. 2 outs and 2 strikes to Sean Booth at the plate. Bragg checks the runner at third, brings the pitch. That's going to be high and outside. And ball 1. The Harleton Wildcats brought a little drum line with buckets over on the right-hand side of us. So whatever you hear on that, that's going to be them. And a good crowd for each fan base. That's going to be a pop fly in shallow center field, actually right center field. And Kason Standrich, the second baseman, is going to get out there for out number 3. So crisis averted with the runners at second and third.
Very similar to the start of last night's game.
It sure is. And a good job by the Indians to take care of business there and get away with no runs. So we're on to the bottom of the second. Or excuse me, bottom of the first. I'm pushing on.
You're getting ahead of us here, Keith.
Sorry about that. On to the bottom of the first. We're going to take a short break. Today's regional final action brought to you by Azalea Orthopedics. Don't go away.
Struggling with mobility, chronic pain, work, or sports injury? At Azalea Orthopedics, our team of highly trained physicians specialize in complete orthopedic care, pain management, sports medicine, physical medicine, and rehabilitation. If you've sustained a bone or joint injury, have mobility or movement problems, struggle with pain, contact Azalea Orthopedics. We're conveniently located across East Texas, serving 18 counties. When visiting your doctor, urgent care, or hospital, you have a choice. Demand Azalea. At Azalea Orthopedics, your health is our priority.
We are back here at Mike Carter Field, myself and Bret Sweeney, bring you some live baseball action. Drew Bobo going to lead things off in the bottom of the first for the Indians, as Dylan Armstrong looking in for the sign. Here's the windup and the pitch. Right down the middle for a strike. He didn't waste time, did he, Bret?
No, and if he starts anything like his counterpart did last night, Wallace, he'll be in good shape, and that's kind of how Wallace started.
That's a good little breaking ball, but Bobo gets it and hits it over to Booth. And
ooh, it's high.
A good
wow.
Braden Hopkins.
He got the tag, didn't he?
He got pulled off the bag. It was a high throw by Sean Booth over at short. And Hopkins jumps but makes good job by turning in midair and reaching down and making the tag for the out, number 1. So a great play there by the Wildcats and Braden Hopkins for the 6-3 putout.
I'd consider that a pretty big play there.
Yeah, that was a good play. Andy Melton now. He was out last night's game and is making his first appearance in the series. Watches that go by for a ball. Here's the windup in the pitch. That's low and ball 2. So a good little start there for the Wildcats. But Melton getting a chance to see this Harleton team for the first time. A good fly ball into center field. And it drifts over into left field, but Gage Schertz makes a good running catch there to get out number 2.
And he shot down the bird in the sky.
Yep.
The arrow.
As he did last night.
He likes
a little
the arrow.
Earlier in the game than he did last night. Got some action out there.
Yeah, this is a little bit different start there. Armstrong, I think he might have felt bad last night. Maybe he's letting his teammates get involved here.
Peyton Bragg at the plate watches that one go inside for ball 1.
It does help your pitch count, though. Striking out can eat your pitch count up. So if you can get, 1 or 2 pitch at bats for flyouts or groundouts and stuff, that does the same thing.
And for those of you who were wondering last night, Carson Wallace struck out the side for the first 2 innings. So the outfield really didn't get much of the ball hit to him in the first few innings of last night's game. That one was high for a ball.
11 batters, he got struck out.
Right.
So
that's going to be a fly ball and out of play.
Heads up.
For the first strike. That's going to be in the fans.
Nobody.
And that actually hit in the same area last night.
Yeah.
And I believe it's the same people maybe, but I'm not quite sure. One of them had a hot dog last night, didn't want to give it up.
No.
To catch a baseball.
He just
if it was pros, it might be different.
He'd rather get hit.
So Armstrong's with the windup, and here comes the pitch. Good little breaking ball, going to go right over the plate, but no call. That looked good to me, and the umpire signals that it was too low, as Armstrong asked what was up with that one. That's going to be hit into center field, a good shot, but
nice play.
To make the catch.
Schertz has already got more action in the first inning than he got all last night, Keith.
He sure did. 3 up, 3 down go the Indians. And Gage Schertz got 2 of those 3 outs. And 3 good plays there by the outfield for the Wildcats. So we're through 1 already. A little bit more action tonight than last night for the Wildcat outfield. But nonetheless, it's the same thing. 3 batters up, 3 batters down, and we're through the first with no runs being scored. And that's where you want to be, I guess, if you're on both teams, as Peyton Bragg makes his way out to the mound.
Yeah, very similar starts. Different but similar. You had Harleton's already got a hit on the board, and they've got some base runners moved across, had somebody at third. And then, of course, Douglas just not able to get their bats going against this Harleton defense and pitching staff. So, like we talked about, Douglas, they've got to get their bats going in this series. You're not going to walk and get hit by pitches and win games. You've got to hit the ball and put it in play.
And as we said last night, Douglas is not a stranger to hitting the ball. They're used to scoring, 8, 9, 10 runs in games, and they scored one run last night.
I don't think it's anything. I think it's more of the pitching from Harleton more than the bats of Douglas.
And there's a reason that Harleton's only lost 1 game, and it was last week, than the entire season.
And we talked a little bit about it last night, but I'll reemphasize this, Keith. The pitching staff, now Wallace went to 12-0 last night. you have Armstrong, who's pitching today, 9-0 with a .94 ERA, 68 strikeouts, only 15 walks in 52 innings.
When you have two pitchers that are under 1 on the ERA, you have a good pitching staff so far.
But then what if you have 3? And then you have 3 pitchers that are under 0.
Yeah.
You know, you have Hopkins as well. And we haven't even seen him yet.
And we see him right now, but he's stepping up in the batter's box. So, yeah, Braden Hopkins is swinging at the first pitch, but he's going to be fouled out of play for strike 1.
Oh, wow, just stayed in play. Look, it's coming down the steps.
Yeah, it's coming down the steps. He wants to be back on the field.
Doink,
And
doink.
if we had a camera,
That would be great.
If our cameraman was here with us today, but
it's going to come all the way
unable
back
to do
down,
that.
right
It
down the
is.
steps.
And the Douglas player is going to be able to watch it. Here's the windup of the pitch. That's going to be inside for a ball. So 1-1 now the count to Hopkins. And I'm still baffled by the stickers on the back of the Harleton helmets. Just don't see that in baseball. Another inside ball.
Now, this is a different umpire from last night, Keith.
It is
Last
a different
night's
one.
umpire was giving that pitch a strike.
And actually, that umpire, I believe, is over on third base tonight, I believe is where he is. That's in there for a strike. Good pitch.
He's either at third or first.
Yeah,
I know
he's
the
one
guy
of
that was
those.
at first base is out at second.
Correct.
Mister that he doesn't hardly make any motions.
He does
He's just
not.
kind of chill. He's just
Right.
here.
Hopkins with 2-2 the count. Here's the pitch. That's on the outside corner, but no call. So it's a full count now.
I think he'd be one of those, if a coach come out and chewed him out, he just would be one that would just stand there waiting
just
for five,
watch.
and then maybe he throws him out after just sitting
Right.
there.
Here's that pitch. Good hit.
Ripped.
Line drive shot out into right field.
Oh.
But when you have a shot like that, and it's right to your right fielder, and Luke Niver, who made a fantastic catch last night, not much you can do when you hit it right to the outfielder.
Yeah,
and that's going to be out number 1.
Yeah, Niver did a great job there.
Oh, yeah. He made a good break.
And
Took
he was
about
in
4
left.
steps to
He
the
was in
right.
left field last night.
He was.
So it doesn't matter. Just stick him out there somewhere.
Hey,
He can
when
make
you're an
plays.
outfielder, you're an outfielder. That's just the way it works. Tanner Tate, number 4, is going to step in. He's your second baseman. That's going to be hit by a pitch. And he'll take his base. And I believe he was hit by a pitch last night as well.
That can't feel good.
No, that didn't look like it tickled any. Now the designated hitter, Peyton Murray, is going to step in.
That's why I stopped playing baseball. I kept getting hit, and the problem was I couldn't see the ball well enough. So when it left the pitcher's hands, it was coming towards me. I didn't have time to get out of the way.
Right.
I think my last game I ever played, I got pegged twice on the elbow, same spot, and I was like, I'm done.
So Bragg looks in, checks the runner at first from the stretch, and brings the pitch. Good outside pitch, but it's going to be high. And ball 1.
Because you got to have really good vision to play baseball. You can't
Yes.
be blind to play baseball. Because you got to be able to pick that ball up right out of the pitcher's hand, especially
And watch it all the way to the bat.
Yeah, especially the higher you play up, it's coming at you faster and faster.
Bragg's ready. Over to first, high. But a good job by Bobo to hold on to that and not let it get away from him. But I don't think Tate was too far away. That's going to be an outside pitch for a ball, so 2-0 to Peyton Murray. Excuse me, the crowd getting into it a little bit. And Bragg ready from the stretch. Over to first, and not in time, as Tate was really close.
Got a pretty good
They're
move
not-
for a righty, Keith.
He does, but I mean, I'm not understanding. Tate's not that far away from the bag, so I'm wondering what's the mentality. He's
Maybe-
only about a foot or 2. There's a good hit, but it's going to be back.
Maybe he's trying to frustrate the batter, Murray, a little bit.
Maybe Murray. It looked like a good hit, but it kind of bounced and curved back behind. I guess I'll say it wasn't a good hit. It was a good swing. Good sound off the bat. But it does get a strike on the board, so it's 2 balls and 1 strike. And Bragg set and brings the pitch home right down the pipe. And that'll even the count at 2-2. Tate over at first. Takes a 2 or 3 step lead off first. Bragg gets set and brings that one home. That's going to be a high fly ball over to first base area, but I believe it's going to go out of play.
Ooh, off the concrete
and back way out of people's way.
Underneath the stands over there.
And it's a race from the kids to go to see who can get that ball first. Count remains 2-2. Still 1 out, 1 on for the Wildcats.
Yeah, Tate still over there on first, waiting to see if he can get moved around.
Short little lead over there by Tate. Now Bragg's ready, brings it home, and that's a good hit into center field. Bobo backs up about 4 steps and gets the good catch there for out number 2.
Center fielders have been busy tonight.
Yes, they have.
That's the second one that Lobos had to do, and Schertz has already gotten a couple. They're hitting the ball a little bit more today.
They really are, and it wasn't deep enough for Tate to get a good tag on it. And so he'll remain at first as Cameron Johnson will head to the batter's box as that pitch comes high for ball 1. Johnson had a great bunt last night at his first at-bat. He put it right down the first base line and got a base hit out of it as well.
He confused the Douglas defense a little bit,
and the runner goes, and we're going to have a play at second.
He's out. Hold on.
In time.
Got
and
it.
Colton Carnes shot him down as Tanner Tate tried to steal and just did not get a good enough jump on it. But
that happened last night, didn't it? I believe
did,
there was a throw out in the early part of the game as well.
I think they tried. I don't know. I believe it was on the other foot, though. I believe that the Wildcats threw out somebody on the Indians team. So, but yes, there was a throw out on a try and steal.
Both catchers have been pretty impressive.
But a good job by Colton Carnes to catch that runner, Tanner Tate.
The only question was he going to hold on to the ball? Because it was there and he had it.
It was bobbling a little bit, but a good job by the Indians to get out of that one. Cameron Johnson will start things off on the next one. We're going to take a little break as we go to the bottom of the second and see how Douglas can do as they head back to the batter's box. Today's game is brought to you by Azalea Orthopedics. Don't go anywhere.
Struggling with mobility, chronic pain, work, or sports injury? At Azalea Orthopedics, our team of highly trained physicians specialize in complete orthopedic care, pain management, sports medicine, physical medicine, and rehabilitation. If you've sustained a bone or joint injury, have mobility or movement problems, struggle with pain, contact Azalea Orthopedics. We're conveniently located across East Texas, serving 18 counties. When visiting your doctor, urgent care, or hospital, you have a choice. Demand Azalea. At Azalea Orthopedics, your health is our priority.
Gavin Robinson, the designated hitter, is going to lead things off. He's the cleanup batter for the Indians. And here's the first pitch from Armstrong. It's going to be in there. Oh, what looked like was a strike, but the umpire disagreed.
A tight strike zone.
That was, yeah. So that's going to be a ball 1. Here's another pitch from Armstrong, and that one is a strike. Looked like the same spot, but could have been off a little bit. And Robinson, 1-1. That's inside for a ball. And Dylan Armstrong not taking any time. He's getting up there. Not quick pitching, but he's not slow pitching either. And here comes the pitch. Good hit. That's going to go to Kaufman. Excuse me, not Kaufman, Booth. Booth bobbles, but gets it in time and gets it over to Braden Hopkins for the 6-3 putout. Good job by Sean Booth to stick with it. He gets it and bobbles it just a little, but keeps concentrating and chunks that over.
Man, it's a great play by Booth.
So, and I guess it wasn't an out. I guess it was safe. They called him safe. It looked out to me. I didn't wait for the umpire to call it. I called it myself. That was my apologies.
Here's what I'm thinking happened. I think his foot got pulled off the bag.
Did it pull him off the bag?
I think that, yeah.
And they're going to call him safe. So I called it wrong, guys. And that was my fault.
I'm sure you guys at home had a great view of that with our first base cam there.
So from what I saw from here, it was a great job by both Booth and Hopkins.
Either way, great job by Booth to get the throw
Right.
there after kind of initially bobbling it.
But Gavin Robinson did a good job of booking it down to that first base and getting there, but it's going to be a base hit. And now Jace Bobo is going to stand in, and he'll watch that one go by for a ball. No, I really thought – I didn't even wait. The ball beat him there.
Yeah.
I mean, by a step, which is why I called it the way I called it. I guess I need to wait for the umpire to make that call. So that was
You got your
mine,
blue
but
shirt on today, Keith.
I do.
Call you blue today.
That's a smash,
ripped.
but it's going to be out of play.
Ooh, over the pitching station there.
Just a little in front of it, and man, he smashed that.
Yeah.
He wanted that. If he'd have been on time, that would have been over the fence. I guarantee you, or at least on it.
If you're Armstrong, you're saying, man, that was close.
Thank you for that. And Jace Bobo is going, I want that pitch again. And he swung the same swing, but it was outside. So 1 ball and 2 strikes. So it looks like Jace Bobo is swinging for the fences on this.
This fence here in Mike Carter is pretty tall. You've got to hit it a pretty good length to get it over these, especially that outfield center field fence.
Oh yeah, that's pretty tall. There's the pitch. That's going to be a good solid hit into left center field. Schertz is back and grabs it, and no tag by Robinson as he's going to jog back. He was about halfway to second. But Schertz does a great job again. That's his 3rd catch of the night, and it's just the 3rd inning, or the bottom of the 2nd inning.
Defensive MVP so far.
Right. Riley Kaufman is now going to step in.
Now, if you're Harleton, you don't like when your center fielder is your defensive MVP. That means people are getting getting bats on ball, and so
that's going to come to bite you here in a little bit.
Eventually, it's not going to be where your fielders are.
Right. That's going to be high, and Clark.
But Douglas's bats have definitely come out tonight. They're a little better than they were last night so far, Keith.
Right.
They're getting on base with.
They're timing it well. They're getting on base. Yes, you're correct. Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt.
No, you're good.
It was just, yeah.
Yeah, that's when we talk about that. They're going to have to hit the ball to win this game and continue and get the series going.
And I bet that's what they talked about. I bet the coach said, look, we got to swing the bats. We can't just watch it. The runner goes, and he reaches for that one, and it's a pop-up and an opportunity for a double play. And good job by the second baseman, Tanner Tate, to get over to first.
Well, that was a hit and run right there, Keith, because he went trying to hit it. When that ball was probably – it would have hit a lefty batter there.
Right.
I mean, it was so far outside.
It was outside, and Kaufman reached so far, and it just popped up. And unfortunately, Robinson wasn't paying attention and wasn't listening, and he just took off because, again, the hit and run was called.
Yeah.
He was doing what he did, but he wasn't looking at his third base coach, and that's what you're supposed to do when you're running the second.
Yeah.
And he didn't,
When we talk about what
was
one of my keys to the game today, Keith? Mental mistakes,
right.
And that was one right there. You've got hit and runs on, but you've got to pay attention to where the ball goes, especially with only 1 out. Now, if it was 2 outs, it doesn't matter, because if the ball gets caught or whatever, the inning's over.
Right.
With 1 out, you've got to be paying attention, and he wasn't there, and that cost him an opportunity to get some runs in. So.
And it did, but it's kind of good, in my opinion, it's kind of good they're getting rid of that early maybe, and they can shake that off there and come back later in the game and do some good. But, yeah, they've had a couple of things happen early in this game, the Indians have, and they've got to straighten up, and they've got to focus a little bit more and make this game a good one for them because, again, a lot is riding on them. It's lose and go home.
This is the season, and for probably if there are any seniors out there, they've probably already graduated.
Right.
So this is like the last event they will be representing their school, so they don't want it to end.
Right.
I'm sure.
They want to continue this ride. Cameron Johnson, who was at the plate when Tanner Tate was thrown out at second, so he'll remain and try again. That's going to be inside, almost hit, but a good job by Johnson to get out of the way.
And that's one of those things you can have your season. If you're playing after high school graduations happen, you've had a good season. Basketball, if you're playing in March, you've had a good season. Football, if you're playing in December, you've had a good – those are kind of the milestones, and both these teams have hit that so far.
Right. That's a high ball. So 2-0 the count to Johnson. Yes, and these teams, you know, all their friends are gone doing whatever, and they're still playing baseball and should be very proud, and probably are very proud of it. That's in there for a ball, so it's 3-0 the count. And that's a good pitch, going to catch the outside corner for strike one, 3-1. And here's the pitch. Good pitch, but it's going to be high. Didn't drop. I believe that was supposed to be a little bit of a breaking ball, but it didn't drop for Bragg. And now we have a runner on first and nobody out, and back to the top of the lineup.
And we
for
saw
Dylan Armstrong.
And we saw how fast Cameron Johnson was last night when he got that bunt single. So
well, not only that, but we're back at the top, and Dylan Armstrong is pretty fast himself.
Yeah, so you got some fast runners. Of course, he won't run though, Keith.
No, but he's got a base hit already. So we know he can hit. He hit it down to third base last time. And in between third and short, as that throw by Bragg over to Bobo at first was not in time to get Johnson.
And I don't know if your pitcher's really fast, you take him off the bases out. I mean, I guess you don't want to get it hurt, but
well,
it's a tough call.
You don't want to risk that. Bragg with the pitch home. That's going to be high and inside for ball one. So Armstrong stepping in. Going to look and see what he's got. A good pitch by Bragg, right down the middle.
Pop on that mitt.
Yeah, I got that in there for a strike. So 1-1 now is the count on Armstrong. Looking to see what the coach called. Steps in. Bragg from the stretch. Checks the runner. And over to first, not in time. Ball kind of out of the way. I think that was more of a hey, I know you're there type of throw.
I'm just checking on you.
Right. Armstrong back in the batter's box, and Bragg checks in with Carnes to see what the sign is. And throws real quick over and not in time. Good job, though. But Johnson was waiting on that.
Yeah, and Johnson had just leaned a little bit towards second before Bragg threw over, so.
And they're watching him closely. Bragg ready. And he'll bring this one home. And that's going to be high and outside, says the umpire. And that's ball two. 2 balls and 1 strike for Armstrong. He steps in ready to go. Bragg paying a lot of attention to Johnson over there on first. And that one's going to be a blooper foul.
So I got our first chat of the night, Keith.
Oh, yeah?
We got Chelsea Lott watching from Lipan. She's rooting for my homies from Douglas, Drew, Jace, Dylan, and Hayden.
Nice.
So thanks, Chelsea, for tuning in. If you're
Welcome,
watching or
Chelsea.
listening, whatever you're doing, appreciate you letting us know.
Of course, we have to do a shout-out to intern Claire. That's a hit and run. It's on.
Oh, my.
Kaufman tried to grab that, and the play over at third is no good as Johnson makes it, and we have runners at the corners.
Man.
And Armstrong.
Kaufman almost had an ESPN top 10 there.
He
could have made that catch.
That was just a hair over the glove.
His glasses flew off. His hat flew off. He gave it everything he had there.
And that's a correction. That's actually Andy Melton now at third.
Oh, is it?
I believe so. I believe that was number 3. So they've made that change.
Interesting. So did they just switch those guys?
I believe so. But I believe, if I'm reading correctly, that I think is number 3. I'll check that out and make sure that's right. But now we have a runners at the corners. And another hit, and that's going to go underneath the third baseman, and a score comes in.
And that's Standridge over there at third base, Steve.
Yeah, we've had some shifting around on the Douglas team, so we're going to try to get all that corrected.
So we got.
And that's not how it started off.
No, we've got, and so we got to figure out Standridge was at second, so maybe that's
Right.
where Kaufman is now. We'll have to
Possibly.
verify that.
But a run did come in for the Wildcats, so let's not take away that. And a good hit out into right field, and that is Niver there. And no run on that. So that's going to be the first out for the Wildcats.
And that is Kaufman at second base. So you got Kaufman now at second, Melton at short, and Standridge at third. So you just kind of rotated them.
Right,
there.
so they moved Kaufman over.
But great play out there by Niver. He's in the right spot there for that one. And an all-important first out of the inning here.
Here's the pitch by Bragg. It's going to be inside, but it called a strike.
Good pitch. Right on the
And
inside
a good little
corner.
breaking ball.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and I'm wondering if they did those changes there because a lot of the hits that Wildcats are getting are going right to the shortstop area. And Kaufman has just struggled a little bit on gaining control of that ball. That's going to be a hit and fair right over third base. Standards tried to jump. A good job by Garrett Carnes.
Oh, by Carnes.
And he gets that fast and holds up the runner at third to keep him from coming. But that base hit right there loads the bases for the Wildcats.
That was important throw by Carnes. Got it into Bragg. He cut it off right between third and home plate. And even though the bases are still loaded, that could have easily scored a run.
Right. And that puts Sean Booth at the plate. Here's the pitch, and that's going to be a fly ball, short center field. And it gets through, doesn't make the catch. And a throw home.
Oh, nice throw, though.
By Drew Bobo, and another run scores.
Nice throw. That was going to be that wasn't Bobo. That was Melton at the throw in, Keith. Bobo made the attempt to try to dive.
Gotcha.
Great backup there by Melton. Yeah.
Gotcha.
They both have the
waiting
pink.
on
They have the
coach.
pink sleeve. They both have one.
I was waiting on the coach to come out to settle his team down a little bit, and that's what he's doing right now.
But that was nice hustle because Melton at short got all the way out to back up Bobo there, who almost made an incredible catch. He sold out. We call that in basketball. You just sell out. He went all out and dove, just couldn't come up with it. So.
So now we got a little talk at the mound, trying to get coach trying to get his team calmed down a little bit with the 5 hits that have come in just in this inning and the 2 runs that have come across for the Wildcats.
The umpire's going to go out and break this up, I think.
Yeah, we don't want to not waste time, but we don't want to take too much time. And the umpire is going to tell the coach, let's wrap it up. And let's not take away from the Wildcats. They're doing a fantastic job of getting on this pitcher here.
Yeah.
And taking a little bit longer time than usual, but now it's time, yeah.
So say he's using every bit of that time.
He sure is. And up next is Braden Hopkins. He flew out in the last inning. With the bases loaded and only 1 out, Hopkins is going to step in. And we're going to see if Peyton Bragg can calm down a little bit and his outfield. And really and truly, the outfield hasn't done anything out of bounds or mentally mistakes like we've said. It's just the Wildcats have hit them in good spots and just hit good base hits.
They're hitting the ball right now.
And there's another high fly ball in the outfield. That's going to be short right field as Niver's going to come in. And there's going to be no play at the plate, however, as another run is going to come in. And that's going to be Gage Schertz, the charismatic one from the Wildcats side.
Yeah, he's very
he's a crowd
animated,
pleaser.
yeah.
And he runs in, but a sac fly by Hopkins works and puts 3 runs on the board for Tanner Tate now to step in. And no other runners went, so they'll stick with one. And that's going to bounce off, and we may have a play at third. And it bounces off of Standrich's glove. He was in time as Carnes does a good job of keeping the ball in front of him. And the throw was there, but Standrich just couldn't hold on to the catch to make the tag. And the runners both advance up 90 feet to the next base. So now there's runners at second and third.
Yeah, good job there by Standrich.
That's going to be high and outside. And now it's 2 balls and no strikes. Here's the pitch from Bragg. That's going to be high and short center field. And Drew Bobo, the center fielder, is going to get it. And that's where this half inning is going to stop. But once again, the Wildcats draw first blood and get 3 runs in this inning. And now the Indians are going to have to come at the bottom of this inning and try to get some runs to shorten this lead.
They need an answer here.
They need to come back, and they need to answer for what the Wildcats just did in this inning.
They don't necessarily have to get all of them.
No.
They just need to get something going.
Well, they need to switch this momentum.
Yeah, they've hit the ball well. They haven't been able to put the ball in play as well as Harleton has. Because both teams have swung the bat today.
Right.
So
we're going to take a really short break. Today's game brought to you by Azalea Orthopedics. We'll be right back.
Struggling with mobility, chronic pain, work, or sports injury? At Azalea Orthopedics, our team of highly trained physicians specialize in complete orthopedic care, pain management, sports medicine, physical medicine, and rehabilitation. If you've sustained a bone or joint injury, have mobility or movement problems, struggle with pain, contact Azalea Orthopedics. We're conveniently located across East Texas, serving 18 counties. When visiting your doctor, urgent care, or hospital, you have a choice. Demand Azalea. At Azalea Orthopedics, your health is our priority.
Leading things off for the Indians, Luke Niver, the vacuum cleaner of the outfield. And he hits that first one right back up to Armstrong. Tanner Tate couldn't hold on to it, and Armstrong, I don't know if he's praying or glad the ball didn't hit him. I wasn't sure if it did or not, but a good job by Niver.
Well, I think if it did, it just glanced because he avoided most of the contact.
But that first pitch hit puts a base runner, and this is exactly how the Indians need to start this inning.
Yep.
Is with a base hit and a base runner.
Like you said, they've been putting it in play. They just have had trouble getting.
And now Colton Carnes is up on the base.
Getting it in a position where Harleton wasn't, and they were able to get it there. Well, I guess Harleton was there, but he hit it so hard at him he wasn't able to field it. So
well, and that kind of bounced a little bit different for Tanner Tate to get. He tried to get it, but it bounced off his glove and did a good job of kind of keeping it in where Niver couldn't advance. And Niver tries to run, and Armstrong
got it.
Didn't even throw yet. So Niver was caught before the throw, before the pitch was made.
That hurts there, Keith.
And it does.
I think they're looking at talking signs over there, and they got some miscommunication. And those mental things we talked about.
Right. And just like that, the base runner is gone for the Indians, and they have one out. And Armstrong with the windup. Here's the pitch, straight down the middle for a strike. 2-1 is the count. That's going to be low for a ball. So two balls and 2 strikes in there for Colton Carnes. Yeah, I wasn't quite sure what Niver was looking at over there, but he just got caught. That's in there for a strike, and that's going to be strike 2. I thought he already had a strike 2, but I guess I read that wrong. Oh, he called that a ball. Excuse me, Bret. That was going to be ball 3, but that was strike 3.
Oh. Well.
So he struck him out on that. I thought the previous was the strikeout, but the umpire no-called that. It was the same exact pitch that was just thrown that he struck out on. So there's 2 outs. And now Armstrong is going to throw. Swung on and missed as Garrett Carnes swings on that. That's the first strikeout of the game, Brett.
Wow, that's...
By this time last night, we already had like 7 strikeouts on one side of the ball, but that's the first strikeout of the entire game.
Well,
that's 2 strikes.
Armstrong's working on another one
Carnes.
right here.
Yes, he is. That's going to be way outside. A good try by Clark to pull that in, but the umpire wasn't going for it. Clark looking over for the sign, and how a windup by Armstrong and the pitch.
Ooh, we really tried to frame that one.
Yeah, that was going to be high and outside as well for ball 2, and the count evens up at 2-2. Crowd keeps trickling in, Brett. We get a little bit more and more every inning. That's a fly ball going to be out of play, and the count will remain.
Oh, right in the one spot where all those people were in the stands over there. That luckily didn't hurt anybody over there. Like,
I think I heard it hit. I heard it hit bleacher.
Yeah, there's like nobody in that far stand except that one little section, and that's where it went.
Armstrong ready to pitch, and here's the windup. And that's going to be hit straight up for a base hit, right up the middle into center field as Schertz gets it.
And here's where you're like, man, we had a runner on a while ago.
Right. But you need to capitalize, and Douglas can do that as they're at the top of the lineup now with Drew Bobo stepping in. He did ground out in the first. So now is the best time with 2 outs. You have your best rallies sometimes with 2 outs.
Yeah.
So we'll see what they can do. Armstrong brings it in to the outside. However, the umpire calls that one a strike.
Getting back to last night's zone there on that one.
And that must have crossed at some point in time. And that one's going to get hit over the shortstop way. And not in time, and the ball gets past Hopkins. And the runner is going to advance. That was a good job by Booth to scoop that up. And he throws it over, but it gets past Braden Hopkins. And now the Indians have runners at the corners and knocking on the door to shrink this lead that the Wildcats have. And this is what they need, and they wish that they had Niver back.
Well, I was going to say that, Keith. Niver would have scored.
Right.
They would have had a run here. And that's why it's so important. And we talk about it over and over, the errors and mental mistakes. I mean, that's when you give away runs like that.
And I'm glad to see that the scorekeeper did not count that as an error, because it was not. Bobo was going to beat that throw either way, because Drew has some wheels on him.
Yeah.
And so he would have been there either way. And that pitch is going to go low for a ball.
Are you sending Bobo there on first to second?
That's going to be tough. You got a great catcher behind there, Mason Clark. He's already thrown somebody out last night, so you know he's got the arm strength for it.
We'll see.
That's going to be low and outside for ball 2. A lot of strategy going into this for this situation.
Because if you send Bobo, and then we're able to get a base hit out of this, it's probably going to score 2 runs.
But you've also got a left-hander at the plate who can hit it down the right field line if he gets a good wrap on it. That's going to hit right down the middle for strike 1, 2-1. So some decision makings over there on first base if Drew Bobo is going to stay or go. And you got to make sure that you make that throw count. And he's going to go, but they're not going to do the throw.
Ooh.
They threw it to third, and it was offline. I'm not sure if the third base, I'm not sure if Skaggs over there at third knew that was coming.
Man, he did a great job of stopping it, though, because that ball, if it gets by there, where Wallace is playing, 2 runs might score there.
Right.
Because it was going to go all the way down the line.
But Drew Bobo does a good job of stealing second. And now there's 2 runners in scoring position, and a base hit puts 2, but that's going to be a high fly ball in the left field. It's going to be short. Somebody's got to call it off. And it looks like Carson Wallace is going to make that catch. And the threat accounts for nothing for the Indians. They really needed that, but nothing comes out of that. And we'll head to the top of the 4th with your score: Harleton 3, Douglas 0. We're going to take a short break. We'll be right back at Mike Carter Field. Don't go anywhere.
Struggling with mobility, chronic pain, work, or sports injury? At Azalea Orthopedics, our team of highly trained physicians specialize in complete orthopedic care, pain management, sports medicine, physical medicine, and rehabilitation. If you've sustained a bone or joint injury, have mobility or movement problems, struggle with pain, contact Azalea Orthopedics. We're conveniently located across East Texas, serving 18 counties. When visiting your doctor, urgent care, or hospital, you have a choice. Demand Azalea. At Azalea Orthopedics, your health is our priority.
And we are back. Peyton Murray is going to watch that one go by for a ball. And we're in the top of the 4th. It's kind of a swift game going on here. And 3-0 is your score as the Wildcats lead. That pitch is going to be in there for a strike, so 1-1 now your count.
There's been a lot of balls hit and play today. That's part of the reason why the game's gone by.
Right. And the umpire getting angry at the fans for expressing their opinions.
Oh.
And I haven't seen that in a while.
Man.
Not since Van.
Is that the same umpire?
No, not the same umpire, but that was usually umpires don't engage with the fans. That one's going to be swung on. They're going to, umpire's going to say that was a strike. And Bret, again, you hardly see the umpires.
He turned around. He didn't like what somebody.
Engage with the fans. Usually they don't do that. That's going to hit the ground and bounce. And going to be a ball. So 2 balls and 2 strikes. Apparently he didn't like what happened last night because he turned around and said not today. So I guess he's not going to allow that. But that happens. And we have 2 balls and 2 strikes as Bragg throws that one. And it was a ball. So now we have a full count. And swung on and missed, and he rung him up as Peyton Murray is struck out. So 1 down. Good job by Peyton Bragg. And now Cameron Johnson is going to step up. He was walked back in the 3rd, and that's going to be a high fly ball in short center field. Drew Bobo easily got that one. And just like that, there's 2 down for the Wildcats. And now Dylan Armstrong, who's 2 for 2 on the day.
So really what Douglas needs right now, Keith, is to get a quick inning.
Yeah, 3 up, 3 down would be really good for them.
Get back out there and see if they can get their bats going here.
Here's the pitch. That's high and outside, ball 1. And Bragg ready to go. Armstrong steps in. Here's the pitch by Bragg. And swing. They're going to appeal to home plate, or to, excuse me, first base umpire. And he says no go, so ball 2. And so we're ready now. Bragg wind up. And here's the pitch. Good breaking ball. Goes over the plate.
Man.
And really buckles Dylan Armstrong. He kind of thought it was coming at him, which is a great example of what a curveball does.
He kind of ducked away like he was going to hit him in the head.
And that one came right over the plate. Gives another one, but that one is too low. I could tell from here. And that's going to make it 3-1. And here's the pitch from Bragg. That's fouled back. Now we have a full count. Big pitch here by Bragg. A strike here would end the inning and put a 3 up and 3 down, which is exactly what the Indians need. Shakes off that call and gets what he wants. Here's the pitch. That one's going to be behind a little bit and no good for ball 4. Armstrong will take his base. And Gage Schertz will head.
And then we'll have a courtesy runner for Armstrong here. The Evan Vance again.
Do what now?
We have a courtesy runner. Evan Vance is.
Yep. Evan Vance going to step up.
He's getting a lot of running. Armstrong's getting on base every time.
So Gage sets up. Here's the pitch. That's going to be high for a ball.
The pitcher helps himself. That's a good thing.
And here's the pitch. That's fouled back for strike 1. So Gage takes a couple of practice swings, steps into the batter's box. Here's the pitch. Runner goes, and Carnes throws, and not in time. It was a little high.
Good effort by Carnes. Had to go real high for it, like you said, and he jumped and then jumped down on top of the runner almost.
Yeah, Kaufman does a good job to get that ball and keep it going to the center field, and actually does a good job to bring the ball down to make the tag, but it was just behind. So now the runner makes it to second. And that's going to be hit over to Melton and over to Bobo for the 6-3 putout. So that's what the Indians needed to come out of the top of this inning. Now they get back with the bats in their hands and get things going. Bret, they're down by 3. And
there's 3 innings left.
There's 3 innings left. So really the time is slowly drifting away. What do they need to work on? What are some things that you've seen in the first few innings that they need to work on?
Well, they could have 1 run on the board right now without the mental mistake of last inning of the base running error. So you've got that. You've got to, if you get runners on base, you've got to be aware of where the ball is. You had the base error earlier where the guy wasn't paying attention. You had several of those this week. So you had the hit and run where he got thrown out because he wasn't watching where the ball went. And, of course, the last error, the mental error last inning. So you've had a couple of base running errors that have not to say, now one would have scored, we know for sure, most likely would have. But the other one we don't know. But you can't, with a team like Harleton, you can't lose those kind of base runners. You've got to keep the base runners because they've done a good job of getting on base today, better than they did yesterday. So they need to keep hitting the ball like they are and get the base runners around without making mistakes. So right. I think they're doing a good job. They're just those couple of mistakes have cost some opportunities. It's just 3 runs. They still have 3 innings left, so
right.
Plenty of time.
It's not insurmountable, and Peyton Bragg is stepping up, and he watches that one go by for a strike. And there's the pitch. That's one's going to bounce. Now 1-1's your count. Armstrong. Here's the windup and the pitch. Outside. Ball 2. Beach ball rolling around here out in the fans.
It's
That's
hot.
in there for a strike.
It's hot enough out there if you're in the sun. Although we have been blessed to not have too much hot weather so far yet, but it's just now June, so.
That's going to be low and inside, and Clark stays there for just a second to try to frame it, but the umpire kind of says no, so now a full count.
He wasn't having it.
For Peyton Bragg, the pitcher on pitcher here. Here it is, and that's going to be a good solid hit to Booth. Booth fumbles it and gets it over in time to Braden Hopkins. Good job by Booth. Keep it in front of him, and that puts out number 1 on the board. Gavin Robinson, the designated hitter. He's going to step in. He's had a base hit back in the second. Here's the pitch from Armstrong. That's going to hit in the strike zone. A good pitch there. Gets strike 1. That one's going to be high. Excuse me. It's going to be outside for ball 1. Jace Bobo on deck. And here is the windup and the pitch. That's going to be a solid hit. And past both the third baseman, Skaggs, and the shortstop, Booth. And kind of did a weird bounce between them.
Yeah, he hit it to the right spot.
He sure did. That's kind of a no man's land area there. Both of them had an opportunity. Neither one could make the catch. And they're going to make that an error. And I'm not sure who they're going to call that on. I imagine it's going to be on Booth, since he actually had the angle to make the play. So we're going to call that an E6.
It's a tough one.
Now Bobo is going to step in with a base runner. And the first pitch will be a ball.
See what he brings here.
And a good solid hit into left field.
Oh, nice play there.
Wallace gets it. He broke the Cardinal rule, but he still was able to get it as he ran forward first. And he made a good catch for out number 1. Excuse me, out number 2.
That's a big play there for Wallace. That ball gets over his head. You're probably looking at least 1 run coming in, and you know, could have been a double or even a triple maybe there.
Right. Riley Kaufman steps in.
Because there's nobody behind him.
Right. He did a good job of getting the ball in fast to keep Robinson over on first. That's a hit to third. Skaggs grabs it and chose to go to first. And once again, Braden Hopkins comes off the bag but makes the tag. And good sportsmanship on that. Braden Hopkins kind of hit, I believe, hit Kaufman either in the head or kind of a hard hit on that tag, and went back and made sure that before he went to his teammates, he made sure that he met up with Kaufman there to kind of pat him on there and tell him a good job and apologize for any kind of contact that was incidental there in the
I don't know if
tag.
he practices that over there, Hopkins, but he's got that pull off the bag, swipe tag down.
Man, he does, and it's not something that is normally done that you really always see, but he's done it twice now, and it's phenomenal to see that. And Bret, we're now in the 5th inning.
Yep.
And
we haven't even broken an hour so far in the game yet, just about to hit that hour mark.
Right.
You've got, basically you've got 3 at-bats left each.
Yeah, and this was the time of the game last night when the Wildcats broke it open a little bit, started hitting,
Well, they already have a little bit more of a cushion than they did at this point last night. So
you got to be wondering what they're thinking as far as, you know, do you want to push a little harder? Do you want to push and extend that lead? Right.
Oh yeah.
Kind of.
I don't think you let off the gas if
No.
you're Harleton. You've been here before. And the games they've won this year, they've won 34 games. So, you know, they're going to keep playing.
This is not a position that they're not used to. This is something they've been in a lot.
So, I'm going to say if you're Douglas right now, you don't want Harleton to score anymore. I mean, not that that's instrumental, but at this point, you want to limit them to no runs. Come in, shut them down, and then give your bats an opportunity because, you know, again, like we said, the innings are running out, and
you essentially want to look at this as 0-0 and play from here and not let it and shut them out.
Try to win from here. Yep.
Carson Wallace, left-hander, is going to step in to lead things off in the top of the fifth. Here's the pitch. That's going to be swung on. No, that's going to go ball one.
Thought it might have deflected off his bat. But
I thought it did too, but no reaction from the umpire, so that wasn't the case. Here's the pitch from Bragg. That's high and outside, ball two. This umpire is not as animated.
No,
as
he's not as fun as last night's, but he's called a good game. It's been consistent. That's all you want. It's consistent. Is that one's way out of the place, Keith?
Yeah, that one's out in the bullpen area for the home team, or for the Douglas team over there on the left-hand side. And that'll make it 2 balls and 1 strike. Bragg winds up. Here's the pitch. That's inside, but for a strike. And a good pitch, 2-2. The student section of the Wildcats getting riled up over there. That's going to be a good hit. That's going to hit fair. And
what a catch
by Garrett Carnes.
My goodness, Keith.
Normally, to me, is a base hit down a left field line is quickly turned into an out as Garrett Carnes makes a fantastic close and just closes in real quick. He's got some speed on him and gets out number 1. A great job by the left fielder, Carnes, for the Indians.
Man, what a play.
Mason Clark now stepping in.
What Douglas needs, though. They need those kind of plays to go their way the rest of the way.
Sure do, and that one's in there for a strike. Yeah, they need a little momentum swift to get out of their heads and let them know that there's a reason that they're here, because they're a good baseball team. That one's a good breaking ball
nice
over the home plate.
Nice pitch by Bragg.
Beautifully done. And here's the pitch. That's a good, solid hit out into base hit territory. Drops right behind Andy Melton. And Mason Clark's at first. He's grounded out. This is his second base hit. Now Sean Booth will head in with 1 on and 1 out.
Clark has his courtesy runner entered the game. It's going to be, I believe, Caleb Correa.
Outside for a ball. Bragg looks in. Long time looking in, waiting for the sign. Now he gets it. Gets from the stretch, throws over to first, not in time, as Correa gets back quickly. Booth steps in, ready for it. Now from the stretch, here comes the pitch. Foul back. Now the count is 1-1. A little bit more media coverage in this game today than last night. A couple of more cameras than was here. Bragg sets. Here's the pitch home, and that's high. Inside. Booth had to back out of the way to avoid that pitch. It's going to be 2 balls and 1 strike.
The drum's going down there still.
Oh, yeah. That one's in there for a strike. Good pitch by Peyton.
They're pretty consistent down there too. Kind of.
Oh yeah.
Feel like I'm at a pro game. The noise going on.
Or a softball game.
Yeah, true.
That's going to be a hit over to third base. And Standrich makes the fielder's choice, gets the lead runner out. Good job by the third baseman there. Gets the second out.
Yeah, it was a smart play not to throw first. Wasn't going to get him, so no use taking a chance of throwing the ball errantly and allowing the runner to move up an extra base there. So
Braden Hopkins is going to step in. He sacked flied last time. Pardon me. And he actually led things off, I believe. Or ended things
nice.
off. That's a good pitch.
Man.
He was close to the end there for the run. All the runs that they got last time. He was the third. Sack fly to get the third run for the Wildcats. That hit
that was
right back into his dugout there.
Be careful there. Somebody.
That was a shot.
That's why you never want to fall asleep over there.
Sure don't.
'Cause that had some speed on it too.
Bragg taking his time. A little bit too long here. And Hopkins says the same thing and steps out. But it looks like the catcher is taking a little bit to get the play.
We're having it's a standoff here.
Yeah. Here we go. Bragg gets it.
Nobody wanted to start.
Right. Here's a pitch.
Ooh.
That's a high off the glove of Carnes. And the runner is going to get over to second.
That was a weird looking pitch, Keith.
That was.
I think it slipped out of his hand a little bit.
Yeah, I think he was going for that curve. And it just got away as Booth makes his way to second. Bragg gets it, brings it home. That's low. And Carnes bobbles with it because a good job of keeping it in front of him.
It's our coach from Central Heights here in front of us here, Keith.
Oh, yeah?
Covered them a week ago.
Yes,
Great
we
season
did.
for Central Heights.
Oh, very good one.
Yes, he's probably here watching Douglas. They're not too far away from each other.
And they probably met each other a little bit this season.
Yeah, they may have played.
Here's a pitch. That was tipped. So foul tip there, keeps it at 2-2.
So I saw where Maypearl won their game one of the regional final, to who Central Heights was beaten by last week. So,
and a big game tonight at 7. Salina and Liberty Ilu play each other tonight. One game, I believe it's a one game and done. I don't think they're playing a series either.
That's interesting.
That is very interesting.
This late in the game.
Usually you don't see that, especially with the caliber of team that Liberty Ilu and Salina are. Here's the pitch by Bragg. That's going to be outside for a ball. And Hopkins is going to take his place over at first.
So we got a couple of base runners here. And your Douglas, you still have 2 outs. You've got to worry about the batter here.
And you got a pretty fast runner on at the plate here with Tanner Tate. Hit by pitch and fouled out, or flew out back in the third. As Bragg steps off the base, the rubber, excuse me, to put the runners back on their bases. Here's the pitch. It's going to be a high fly ball. And it's in playable territory right now, and goes into the dugout.
Just ran out of room over there.
Yep. And that's going to be a strike. Everybody's got to go back and reset. which I'm not really sure why the runners ran. They weren't going to be able to advance on that anyway. 0-1 to Tate. Bragg brings it home. That's foul back as well. So now Tate finds himself behind in the count. No balls and 2 strikes. With 2 outs, 2 on, and 2 strikes, Tate has a big pitch coming to him. And Bragg has a big pitch to deliver.
2 runners on.
Yep. Here's the pitch. That's going to be low bounce. And Carnes has an opportunity.
Oh.
And not in time.
Oh, nice job there.
And it was just a little bit behind. The runner did a good job of sliding behind the tag.
I was going to say, Booth did a good job of not sliding past the base and keeping his hand on the bag, because he almost slid too far.
But if you watched it, he was behind. He slid kind of back away and not directly into the bag.
Yeah.
Which put it away from the throw. And that's going to be hit out into left field and caught by Garrett Carnes. And so this runners close by didn't come to fruition. No runs scored. And we're going to head to the bottom of the 5th inning and see what Douglas can do. We're going to take a short break. This half inning brought to you by Azalea Orthopedics. Don't go away. Go ahead and like and subscribe. We'll be right back.
Struggling with mobility, chronic pain, work, or sports injury? At Azalea Orthopedics, our team of highly trained physicians specialize in complete orthopedic care, pain management, sports medicine, physical medicine, and rehabilitation. If you've sustained a bone or joint injury, have mobility or movement problems, struggle with pain, contact Azalea Orthopedics. We're conveniently located across East Texas, serving 18 counties. When visiting your doctor, urgent care, or hospital, you have a choice. Demand Azalea. At Azalea Orthopedics, your health is our priority.
Luke Niver steps into the batter's box for the Indians to lead off this bottom half of the 5th.
Oh, and the umpires, he's even told the drummers to stop. Well, he's running a tight ship here today, Keith.
He sure is, and that's unusual. And they did that all night last night, so I'm not sure what this umpire doesn't like, but apparently he's not gonna allow him to do it. And they're gonna go right back to doing it. No balls and 2 strikes to Niver.
He needs to just focus on the game here. And
yeah. Here's a pitch by Armstrong. That's gonna be swung on and missed for strike 2.
Play some baseball.
Yeah, he seems to be a little bit preoccupied with the fans instead of watching the game and doing what he's supposed to do on that. Here's the windup and the pitch by Armstrong. That's a solid hit into left field. That's going to drop for a base hit. Niver gets on base once again, and maybe this time he'll not try to steal.
You think he's gonna pay attention to his coaches this time?
Probably. And maybe this time he'll hit solid and they'll be able to get some runs in. Because now we have Colton Carnes coming up. Now he struck out last time he was up back in the 3rd. And that's going to be down low for a ball. And I'm not sure if the umpire actually was talking to the fans. He might have been talking to somebody in the dugout. That's going to be hit up the middle, another base hit. And Niver's going to stop at second, and now we have base runners at first and second for the Indians.
Now they got something going here, Keith.
We sure do.
2 hits in a row.
Exactly what they needed to start doing in this inning.
I'm trying to think if they've had 2 hits in a row all series, and I don't know that they have. Back-to-back like that. This is the good time to start.
And sure is. Garrett Carnes now. And we have time.
Coach, third base coach is talking. Oh, he's going to get a
courtesy runner
there for.
That's going to be number 10, Dylan Johnson. And they're going to bring a courtesy runner in for Colton Karn. He's the catcher, so that's why.
Yeah.
So Dylan Johnson's going to be running on first base in the place of Colton Karn. And Garrett Carnes is going to be at home plate trying to bring those runners around. And he swings and misses. Ooh. That one was cut. That was a slider on the outside. He went fishing for that.
He needed to bring his 9-iron out there, Keith.
Yeah.
Yeah, the wrong club.
Along with a fishing lure.
Wrong club in hand there.
Armstrong checks the runners and tries to get Niver over there at second, but nobody was covering the base, so he couldn't have anybody to throw it to. And the cloud coverage is coming over, so a little bit of a reprieve for some of the fans out there in the sunshine as it goes behind some clouds. Another swing and a miss.
I'm telling you, he brought the wrong club to the plate here. This at bat. He's got to watch those pitches
and I'm not. Yeah,
he's helping the pitcher out, Armstrong, right now.
I'm not sure if he's trying to hit it out in the outfield to advance these runners to another base or what he's trying to do. Because there's no outs. That's what I would do. That's going to be high. Good job to watch for ball 1. And we have time. He's telling him again to stop that, which I'm not sure if he has the right to do. It's not against the rules. So that's not something that's very unusual. And
now the fans are just going to be that much louder.
Yeah, that's unusual. I've never had anybody.
They're just going to fire them up more. Wow.
Even Douglas' team is kind of raising their hands and letting the fans do what they do as well. So the umpire has kind of got
it's backfired on him a little bit.
The fans backfired on him. That's going to be in the outside.
That's hilarious.
For a ball.
Oh, good to Harleton's fans.
And again, I don't believe that he has the right. They can't have air horns and they can't have cowbells.
They wouldn't be able to stomp in the bleachers either. That's legal, and it's basically what they're doing. Never seen anything like it.
So Armstrong's ready. 2-2 is the count, and now we have a time.
Oh, what are we doing now?
And the umpire is.
He needs to get over here and umpire. What is the deal?
Is getting a little bit, and it's not. I really don't know what's going on and why he is so paying attention, but it's a little bit ridiculous in my opinion. And I'm not sure if it's the dugout, if it's the fans, but the coach is even confused by what's going on and why the umpire is so interested in something that is really not in the field of play. And now, again,
all it's going to do is make their fans even louder, so I don't know what he needs to.
And so I believe even the coach for Douglas is asking the umpire over on third base kind of what's going on. So this is getting a little bit crazy out here at Mike Carter Field. I've never seen this.
This is interesting.
Even playing baseball and watching baseball and broadcasting this year, that's going to be outside for a strike.
Oh, rung him up.
Rung him up for out number 1. And Garrett Carnes is going to have a seat as Drew Bobo is going to come in and see what he can get done.
I don't understand that.
I'm not understanding either.
And they did it all last night up on the dugout right there by Harleton.
Right.
And
I've seen it in multiple games and multiple situations, and so this is the first time I have actually seen a umpire take advantage of that or do something about that. That's going to be outside for ball one. Almost lost it by Clark. And I'm not sure what's going on with the fans here.
Did they just kick people out?
I don't think so. I think the fans are moving into underneath. Is it raining?
I don't know.
There's a good solid hit, but it's going to go foul. There is a dark cloud above us, so I'm not sure if there's rain coming down or what, but people are moving mass exodus style underneath the pavilion here at Mike Carter Field.
Well, we're about to be real cozy with some folks, I guess.
Sure are. So bear with us, folks. We're trying to figure out what's going on here ourselves.
At first, I thought they kicked some people out.
I thought they did too. Armstrong brings the pitch. It's going to be down low and inside.
Well, then Douglas fans were coming in, so I knew that wasn't the case. I don't know. Well, seems to have everyone's kind of gotten settled here.
2 balls and 1 strike.
Oh, man. This is what a day to end the season, Keith.
That's in there for a strike.
For us, anyway.
Right.
One of these teams is moving on, but this will be our last broadcast of the 22-23 season.
Yes, it will. So 2 balls, 2 strikes. 2 on and 1 out for the Indians. And Bebo hoping to get a good hit, and he hits it up the middle. And a good job by Tanner. And a free double play ends the inning for the Wildcats and crushes the opportunity for the Indians to put runs on the board.
And man, they're loud.
They are loud, and as they should be.
What a play.
And yeah, so we're going to take a break real quick and try to figure out what's going on here, and we'll be right back. Hey, go ahead and like and subscribe so you don't miss a minute of the action, because if this is not anything for this game, this is action right here. You're missing a lot of good stuff. Go ahead and like and subscribe. We'll be right back.
Struggling with mobility, chronic pain, work, or sports injury? At Azalea Orthopedics, our team of highly trained physicians specialize in complete orthopedic care, pain management, sports medicine, physical medicine, and rehabilitation. If you've sustained a bone or joint injury, have mobility or movement problems, struggle with pain, contact Azalea Orthopedics. We're conveniently located across East Texas, serving 18 counties. When visiting your doctor, urgent care, or hospital, you have a choice. Demand Azalea. At Azalea Orthopedics, your health is our priority.
And we're back as number 6, Peyton Murray, takes that one for a strike. And so here's the pitch. That's going to be outside for ball 1. We're trying to figure out what. And 1-1 is now the count. So, yeah, we're trying to figure out what happened in that last inning, why the umpire was the way he was.
So what I was told by an administrator from Harleton is they can't make noise when the batter's in the batter's box.
And that's the dumbest made-up rule I've ever heard.
That was what was explained. So
well, I now have to look that up. I don't know. I've never heard that rule. I've been at games all season long, and you and I have done many games in the playoffs. Here's a pitch by Bragg. It's going to be hit by pitch, and that got away from him there. And so Peyton Murray is going to take his base here in the 6th inning.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not the baseball guru or anything, but I've watched enough baseball in my day, and I've never seen anything like that, ever.
No.
I mean, fans are here; they're allowed to make noise. I mean,
well, I mean, and fans can scream and holler and know all this stuff during the game. I mean, that's making noise. So I'm not sure what's that. So we're going to try to find what's going on and continue broadcasting this game, of course.
Looks like Murray was pinch ran for. That's going to be number 9 of Harleton. It's Alex Holt. It's going to be pinch running there.
And Cameron Johnson is going to step in and see what's going on.
Ooh, attempts that bunt again.
Yep, sure did. He did a good job with it last night.
So the DH has pinch ran for that would he has to come out, right?
No.
He does not. Can he have a courtesy runner?
I believe he can have a courtesy runner as well.
Can I have a courtesy announcer? I mean, it's a courtesy for everything.
You are a courtesy announcer.
Back in the day, when you came in the pinch run, the person had to come out. So that's all this is new.
Well, it's not called a pinch runner. That's why they call it a courtesy runner. Yeah. There's a difference these days in pinch runners and courtesy runners. And so, yeah.
It's interesting.
Yep.
A little bunt there.
It's going to be foul. Yep.
Yeah. So good job by Johnson. Just couldn't keep it in play, and it was a good job by Jace Bobo there at first, Keith. And he let it go foul, then touched it. Didn't he?
And last night that kind of didn't happen. I think he touched it last night and caused the confusion.
Well, and sometimes when it's gotten that far down the line, and Johnson's about to, you just go and let it go foul, because you don't. At that point, if it's fair, he's just gonna get the base, and then
That's going to be another hit by pitch, Bret. Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt.
No, you're good. Johnson gets plunked there, and he's going to take a free base, and it's not a good start to the inning here for Bragg. Again, we're running out of time if you're Douglas. So, I mean, at some point, do you put a reliever in? You don't want to get behind by more than this, I don't think. You want to stay with this 3-0 deficit.
Right.
When they call you the rules official over there, Keith, as you're looking up some
I always like to know things. But right now, Dylan Armstrong, I know, is going to step in.
Hey, they're testing our rules knowledges here with this one. We've got all kinds of strange things going on.
Well, it's the last game of the season. I've never seen this before, so I'd like to know. Dylan Armstrong, however, is going to step in. He's had a great night. He's 2-2. He's walked his last one, but he's 2 for 2 with 2 base hits, so he's done a great job.
Yeah, he's been on base all 3 times, so looking to add a 4th time here. So he's trying to start a big inning here as they've got 2 runners on with no outs.
And that one was low for a ball.
So what do you think? If you're Corey Marshall, you put on your coach's hat, Keith. Do you keep riding Bragg here? At some point, you got to think you got to protect this only 3-run deficit here.
I think right now you ride him until, I don't know, you see what happens with this one. This is going to be a big tell at this juncture. I think if the bases get loaded, you might have to bring somebody in.
Because I mean, you can't worry about game 3. You got to get there first. So,
but it depends on who you have. You don't know what you're. Unfortunately, I don't know the pitcher situation for Douglas.
Yeah, it's true.
As Bragg checks the runners. And time is called as he takes a little bit longer than he probably should have.
This is a big batter. You're right. If he can get this out, then he has a chance to get force a double play here possibly and get out of the inning. So
that's swung on. Drop ball though. He's got to throw it.
He's got to throw it to first.
And well, he can't run. Here's the thing, and that's going to be a weird situation because, okay, so here's the rule on that.
Oh, that's strange.
When you have a runner at first A dropped ball on a third strike, you can't run. You're automatically out. It's third strike.
Yeah, there's no base open, in other words.
Which a good job by Colton Carnes to now. If there's 2 outs, then he could have run. Then it's different. It's a weird situation there, but a good job by Carnes not to mess up on that.
He was waiting to see if they were going to run.
Right. So that's a strikeout on Armstrong, and a good job by Bragg. That's swung on.
I didn't see that one very often.
They're going to appeal it. Yeah, they called it. They appealed it. I was wondering if they're going to do that. And they appeal that and get a strike called on it. And a good job by Carnes to do that. So here's the pitch. Maybe. Okay, now he goes.
Yeah, and then
it's time. So apparently, I'm looking it up. It does say all music, chants, crowd cueing messages must stop when the batter enters the dirt circle, which is where the batter's box is contained. That's going to be high. Music, noise, and cheers, as well as use of LED matrix boards, may be used the following times: before the start of the game, between innings, during pitches.
But that's music.
As the batter is heading towards the batter's box, and after the game.
The crowd cueing, but it doesn't say anything about the cheering or.
Well, it does. It says all music, chants, or crowd cueing messages must stop when the batter enters the dirt circle.
Is cheering a chant?
Well, yeah. I mean, all music, chants, or crowd cueing. I don't know. It's interesting. That's up to interpretation, I guess. It doesn't necessarily say. That's going to be high and outside for ball 4, and the bases are now loaded.
Well, here's that situation, Keith.
Carson Wallace.
You had the bases loaded here with 1 out, and the Douglas coach he's thinking over there what he should do.
He's going to keep up with Bragg there as Carson Wallace is going to come in.
He's gonna ride with the horse that brung him, I guess.
I guess so. And Bragg's doing a fairly good job. That's a high fly ball backwards, but it's going to be out of play.
Red truck. Bam. Oh.
That's funny.
I think it was going towards your vehicle.
So the bases are loaded. That's going to be a strike 1.
Cue up our insurance sponsor. Anybody out there that wants
out there that wants one?
We're needing one for next year. You get lots of publicity on here.
Oh yeah. Bragg with the pitch, and that's a solid hit into right center field. That's going to make it to the wall. 1 run comes. Johnson is around third. That's 2 runs in, and Armstrong in. That's 3 runs come in.
Wow.
On a RBI triple by Carson Wallace.
What a play by Wallace there.
And a fantastic hit.
And they just doubled their run count on 1 swing, Keith.
They sure did.
And now, Douglas coach is going to come out.
Yeah, there's going to be a pitching change. You got to do that. Because now you're putting yourself into a 10-run rule situation because there's only 1 out. Now you got a possibility if 4 more runs come in over the next inning.
They're going to bring in Jace Bobo, looks like.
Yeah. So Jace Bobo's coming in. Peyton Bragg is going to step out after pitching a fantastic 5 innings. And the fans of Douglas giving him a standing ovation, as they should. He played a fantastic game.
Yeah, he did. He ran out of juice this inning, and finally those Harleton hits started hitting gaps and holes, and couldn't stop the bleeding. So we'll be interested to see who moves over to first base to replace Bobo. You got Bragg's walking out.
Well, Bragg is probably going to go to first. He
Well,
just
yeah.
had to go change gloves.
Yeah, he is. He's got the first base
Yeah, he's
mitt.
got his first base gloves. So
Because he played third last night.
right. Well, he's a multi-purpose player.
Yeah. Got to have those in the high school game.
Right.
You can't just bring in pitchers off the bench that aren't playing. They're usually, if you're a pitcher, you're usually pretty good, so you're playing somewhere else, especially at the 2A level.
Right.
These guys, I talked to somebody, I think it was Douglas, a grandmother of one of the players, said that their kid had been playing hadn't stopped all season. And he went from one sport to the next sport to the next sport, and it's just.
Well, yeah, because in the smaller schools, that's like you said, that's what you got.
Yeah, everybody plays everything.
Everybody plays everything, and it's usually both ways in basketball or in football.
And you're usually good. So you're
Right.
usually, if you have good athletes and they're playing a lot of sports, you're usually pretty
Right.
good in everything. So you're playing deep, so you don't get as many games in either.
And Douglas is usually good. I went to school at SFA, and Douglas is a good little community and has always had good athletes out of there. And so the fans of Harleton
They're taking advantage of their
taking
drumming.
advantage of the drumming. And I have to take what I said back. The interpretation of the rule, the umpire was correct. However, it's I guess, up to the umpire on the interpretation of the rule.
Yeah.
I've never seen an umpire take it that way. I guess he got tired of hearing it and decided to enforce it. But
You know, they were doing it the whole game, and then someone said something behind home plate. It was a Harleton fan.
Yeah,
So I wonder
it
if
upset him,
if maybe, okay, well, if you're going to say something,
Right.
I'm going to take away your drumming.
which shouldn't happen.
I mean,
And this
it-
happened in Van. We had an umpire in Van that did the same thing, and threatened to kick out all the fans in like the second inning.
But it just was coincidental that it was after that
Right.
that he started, because they were been doing it the entire game.
And let me tell you, that's a tough job. I umped Little League,
Yeah.
and it's not a fun job to do.
It's not for the faint of heart.
Right. So here we go. We're back up. Mason Clark is up at the plate. He watches the first pitch go by for a strike as Jace Bobo starts off good and puts a strike on the board with a runner on third and only one out. 3 runs already in this inning as the Harleton Wildcats lead
Ooh,
6-0. Good little
I thought it was-
breaking ball there, but it's a little high.
It's close. Good pitch, though.
We're in the top of the 6th. Very briskly played game. Only an hour and a half into it. That's going to be a pop into right field. That's going to drop for a base hit. And another run is going to come in. As the lead swells to 7 for the Wildcats.
Their just bats are on fire right now, Keith.
Yes, they are. Sean Booth is going to step in. As he will face Jace Bobo now with a runner on first and only one out. Here's the pitch. That's going to be down low in the dirt for ball 1. So again, I was talking earlier, Bret, there is a possibility with the way the bats are going, unless Bobo and has the opportunity to do, unless Bobo stops the bleeding here, we're 3 runs away from the 10-run rule that could happen if Douglas comes in the bottom of this inning and doesn't do anything.
Yeah.
The game will be over if 3 more runs come across. The likelihood of that happening is not slim to none, but I have seen that type of thing happen, so it is a possibility. That's going to be high and inside. The runner goes, and it's going to be there as the tag was not made. The ball dropped out of the glove.
Nice job by Correa there.
So it's now 3 balls and no strikes.
So another thing that's interesting now, Keith, that I've noticed on the field, the shadows come into play.
Yes.
In the batter's box, the batter's now in the shade, the pitcher's in the sun.
Right.
That definitely can play a part.
And so is your
Being able to-
fielders.
Yeah, being able to see.
That's going to be outside for ball 4. So now runners on first and second with no one out.
So if you're Jace Bobo, you're looking to try to get Hopkins to ground into a double play here and get out of this.
Right. Hopkins walked back in the 5th. Sack fly in the 3rd. And he is a lefty. And you have Tanner Tate on deck. Here's the pitch from Bobo. Outside, ball 1. Hopkins looks down, gets the sign and the call from the third base coach. Bobo with the pitch, same place on the outside. So it's going to be 2 balls and no strikes as Hopkins steps back in to the batter's box. Here's a windup in the pitch. That's inside for a strike. Good pitch by
nice.
Jace Bobo.
Nice job. Paint that inside corner there for Bobo.
Yeah, he put it in there really, really tight for him.
Especially when the batter's that close to that line there.
And here's the windup. That's going to the outside. So now 3 balls and 1 strike. Bobo looks in, gets the sign from the stretch, and here's the pitch. That's going to be in there for a strike.
Right down the pipe.
Bobo checks the runner at second and brings the pitch home. That's going to be fouled back out of play into the parking lot.
Ooh.
Not my truck. And the count remains full to Mason Clark. Correction to Braden Hopkins. Sorry about that. Here's a pitch. That's high and inside for ball 4. Now the bases are loaded.
Well, and the winning run is on first base right now, Keith.
Well, the Indians still have the final bat, so we'll still be in
well,
we'll go to the
yeah.
bottom of this inning.
Well, it would end the game if we...
Yeah, the 10-run situation is there.
The possible winning run,
Correct.
I guess.
Is at first base. As we have the bases loaded. And Tanner Tate. He's going to hit that one straight over.
Oh, double play.
And a good
Got him.
That was a
nice play.
Over to Standridge. Standridge caught it and raced the runner back to third. So the
Standards heard me, Keith.
Yeah, he did. He heard you.
He's like, no, we're not going anywhere yet.
Bases were left loaded. And we're on to the bottom of the 6th. We're going to play the full 7 here at Mike Carter Field. Your score, Harleton 7, Douglas 0 going in to the bottom of the 6th. We're going to take a short break. Hey, if you're watching, go over to our YouTube channel at youtube.com/NETsn live and go ahead and like and subscribe so you don't miss a minute of the Northeast Texas sports action. If you're listening to us on our YouTube channel, just get down there and click that like and subscribe, and that way you will get all of the entertaining broadcasts that we bring you every sports event that we have. And all of it this year and for this game is brought to you by our sponsor, Azalea Orthopedics. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back.
Struggling with mobility, chronic pain, work, or sports injury? At Azalea Orthopedics, our team of highly trained physicians specialize in complete orthopedic care, pain management, sports medicine, physical medicine, and rehabilitation. If you've sustained a bone or joint injury, have mobility or movement problems, struggle with pain, contact Azalea Orthopedics. We're conveniently located across East Texas, serving 18 counties. When visiting your doctor, urgent care, or hospital, you have a choice. Demand Azalea. At Azalea Orthopedics, your health is our priority.
Andy Melton's leading things off here in the bottom of the 6th. Watches that one go by for a ball. As Dylan Armstrong still on the mound for the Wildcats. Here's the pitch. That's going to be hit down the first base line, and it's going to be fair. And it's missed by Hopkins. Ooh. And he's going to round first and head to second. He slides in, no play though. And a leadoff double for the Indians, puts a runner on second.
Big there for
and a
Douglas.
Good job by Andy Melton to start things off with a double.
Yeah, he a heads-up play, saw the ball was going to get by, and immediately took off to second. An extra base, big.
Good job. Peyton Bragg is now going to step in, see if he can bring that runner home and put the Indians on the board. And that's going to be in there for a strike. And unfortunately, that's actually not going to be a base hit. That's going to be counted as an error. Against Hopkins. That's in there for a strike too.
Good pitch.
So no balls and 2 strikes to Bragg. And here's another pitch that's way outside though for a ball, as Bragg did not chase for that one. And Armstrong sets. Here's the pitch. He makes a half-hearted swing. Tried to pull back, but it hit anyway, so count still remains 1 ball and 2 strikes. Armstrong checks the runner and brings it home. That's going to be behind.
Wow.
Bragg.
Don't see that very often.
No, he kind of got away from him there.
Completely behind him. It's a good catch there by Clark, though. Armstrong staying strong.
Oh, yeah.
So far through these 5+ innings here.
That's foul back out of play.
He hasn't really had much struggle today, Keith. He's been consistent. He's allowed a few hits here and there, but he's thrown strikes today.
Yeah, he really has. He's had a couple of strikeouts. He hasn't walked anybody yet. That's going to be a hit. And Gage Schertz is there for out number 1.
Well, we went over his stats beforehand, and coming into the game, he'd only walked 15 batters.
Yeah.
In 52 innings.
Well, he has had 2 strikeouts and 1 or no walks.
Yeah, so I mean he's got good control.
Gavin Robinson, he's hit a base hit and gotten on by an error as he watches that first pitch go by as a strike.
Say Wallace has fancier stuff,
right,
but Armstrong has better control.
Yes. And well, and he allows his back. He allows the people behind him to work with him too. That's going to be outside for a ball.
They cut. He swung. Keith. They appealed to first.
They appealed to first, and so gave him the strike. And I didn't believe he went around, but I'm not down that first base line. And sometimes the angle's all you get. So no balls and 2 strikes. Robinson waits the pitch. It's going to be high. That is a ball.
Yes, definitely there. So Robinson trying to find that just right pitch. He's got a guy on second. He can drive in here with a base hit.
And he's going to swing at that one. Ooh. However, that one's going to go foul back towards the dugout.
Did get a piece to stay alive, though. So
1 ball and 2 strikes.
I think if you swing and a miss right here, if you're Douglas, you got to find ways to stay in counts.
Yeah.
Just try to drive up that pitch count, maybe hoping Armstrong will eventually get tired.
Here's a pitch.
Ooh.
And swung on, strike 3. And Robinson will go down swinging. That's the 3rd strikeout for Armstrong.
He didn't look tired there.
Nope. And out number 2.
Whew.
Jace Bobo steps in. He's flown out both times at the plate. That's going to get over for strike one. Good little slider by Armstrong to put a strike on the board. Armstrong set. Here's a pitch. Runner goes, swung on and missed. And no go on the play. Skaggs was there, but the ball got dropped.
Good job by Melton there, using that speed, getting over to third. Now he's got himself 90 feet away from getting that first run of the game for Douglas.
However, Bobo is now no balls and 2 strikes down in the count. And Armstrong has a good slider on him. And that's going to be a hit
nice
right
hit.
up the middle. And a base hit scores a run. And just like that, the Indians are on the board. So a good job by Jace Bobo.
Just drove it right up the gap there in the middle.
To hit that right past Sean Booth at short.
Yeah, they had no chance at that. He just hit it way too hard. And looking to try to 2-out rally here in the 6th, Keith.
And Riley Kaufman is going to watch that first one go by as a ball. Clark tried to frame it. Didn't quite work out for him.
He's even politicking the umpire for the call.
He's like, what? He's looking back there a lot.
He's like, how'd that miss? Okay.
Right. And that one's going to go right up the middle.
That's the same spot almost.
Booth misses it. And no go on Bobo for the run to third as the coach wisely makes sure he is in the eye line. He had run over right in front of the third base and made sure
Schertz was daring him to go. He was ready to throw it.
Right. But he made sure that Jace saw him and said, do not run.
That's 2 in a row, almost the exact same hit right up that middle.
So a little bit of life in Douglas here, as now with 2 outs, 2 runners on, and Luke Niver at the plate. He's 2 for 2 with 2 base hits. And that goes over for a strike. Here's a pitch. That's going to be on the outside for ball 1. Here's a pitch, and looks like he swung. They're going to appeal to first and did not go. So that's going to be a ball 1-1, or excuse me, 2-1 to Luke Niver. He looked like he swung and he kind of went around, but he pulled back just in time. Armstrong looks. He's set from the stretch and turns and tries to act like he was going to throw.
Nobody was
Not
there.
a lot of commitment on that. that kind of looked fake.
Yeah.
But
he would have been throwing to that invisible teammate out there.
Not going to win an Academy Award for that performance there. Here's the pitch. On the outside corner, says the umpire. That's going to even the count at 2.
Tough call there.
That was a really tough call. It looked like it was in the other batter's box.
Big pitch here.
And here's the pitch. That's going to be hit down. And that's in the outfield, and they're going to hold up the runners and load the bases. And Niver 3 for 3 on the day. And Colton Carnes.
Well, the catcher kind of halfway had his catcher gear on. He had to take that off for a second. Coming on, he's got a chance to, a gapper here, Keith, could get 2, maybe 3 in. So this is a huge at bat for Douglas.
And Colton Carnes had a base hit back in the 5th.
His brother over here, Garrett, trying to fire up the Douglas faithful to our left.
Well, you got to get the little momentum swing here. And that's going to be a little slider there.
Ooh, that was close.
And the fans not too happy about that call. And Clark going to go discuss it with Armstrong and tell him not to worry about the balls and strikes, just pitch the game. He's got the team behind him.
fans are getting into it over. You got the drummers over.
Oh, yeah.
Getting their drumming in while they can.
Well, and a good job by Clark to go settle down his pitcher, because you can tell the frustration is setting in, and he needs to understand he's got the team that'll help him behind him and just pitch the way he's been pitching for the entire game. Colton Carnes steps in. Armstrong from the stretch brings the pitch, going to be outside, but call a strike. There must be something on that other side that I'm not seeing. Either the plate's a little bit bigger, or I don't know.
Maybe it is. Oh, and he hits him.
And hit by pitch brings a run in. So that puts a run in, and that'll put 2 in. Keeps popping up network error.
Where?
On the window, on the other thing.
Oh, well, it's working. It's only dropped.
So the coach goes out to have a conversation.
Yeah, he's going to leave him in here at this point.
We were checking on some technical difficulties there.
Well, we got 7-2 now, so.
Sure do.
Now, we talked about that last inning, how important those were. Those 4 runs are huge right now.
Yes, they are.
I mean, it was bases loaded, and they gave up the base clearing triple, and right now it's almost the difference of this game.
Garrett Carnes up to bat. Here's the pitch. It's going to be high for ball 1.
What I say earlier, Keith, about Armstrong getting tired.
Yep.
We're starting to see a little
pitch count
fatigue.
Should be up there. Back in the, I believe, 4th inning, we looked at his pitch count, and he was up in the 40 range. Here's the pitch. That's a hit solid into center field.
It's to that man again, though,
Yep,
Keith.
Mr. Vacuum Cleaner. Gage Schertz with the 3rd out. So the bases were left loaded. 2 runs did come across, but not enough right now to make a difference. And we're on to the final inning of the ball game, possibly the final inning. But in all probability, that's not what the Indians needed to do, was leave the bases loaded there.
Yeah, the problem with the rally, Keith, they didn't start that till 2 outs.
Right.
And it's hard to
do.
it's hard to do.
The 2-out rally is you don't have enough time to make a big enough impact.
Yeah, there's no wiggle room. Everything's got to go exactly perfect. They were able to get a couple of runs in, but you can't hit it out there to Schertz. He's the one place you don't want. He's like an out machine today.
Yeah.
And I don't know how many he's caught out there, but at least 4 or 5.
And not only that, but you got to look. Here comes the Wildcats again, and they're starting with the same person, the same batter that they started with the last inning when they scored their 4 runs. So they almost batted around last inning, and now you got Peyton Murray, who's about to step up. And so you got Peyton Murray, Cameron Johnson, then you're back up at the top of the lineup. And your bottom of the lineup is not as bad. Not the bottom of the lineup that you look at. We know you're here. The bottom of the lineup is not your bad.
Well, that's the thing, Keith. There's no really bottom lineup.
Right.
If you look at the numbers they had this season, they've got 7 guys hitting 300 or better, 3 of them hitting 400 or better,
right,
and 9 guys with at least 18 RBIs. So their production can come from anywhere in the lineup. So
correct. So we are sitting here, and Peyton Murray is stepping in, and the umpire is stepping out.
And the drummers are giving it to him.
Well, I think he got a little something. I got a little sweat probably in his eye. And Colton Carnes is going to go take a look at him.
He's checking his glasses, make sure they're still working.
No comment. That was nice of Mr. Colton Carnes, catcher for the Indians, to go over there and check on the umpire. We're ready to play now.
Oh, you got to be nice to the umpire. You know,
yeah.
You might need a call here in a minute.
Jace Bobo ready. Here's the windup, and here's the pitch. It's going to be outside. A little breaking ball goes a little bit too far on the break. And 1-0.
We talked about how important it was to limit the damage. They need a 0 on the board for Harleton if you're Douglas right now.
Right.
You can't give up anything else. It's going to be hard enough to come back.
Oh, yeah. That's foul back. A good cut, but a little bit behind. And I want to give a shout out, I hadn't done it yet, to intern Claire. We hadn't talked about her much in this game.
Yeah, and our man Rob.
Rob.
He's starting a new job. He's been tied up all day and was able to make it back. So
a good pitch by Bobo, but a little bit too far outside for ball 2. That one's in there. Strike 2. 2-2 the count. Yeah, our helpers aren't with us for this series. They're elsewhere. But intern Claire and Rob are an important part of our team here. That's swung on, and that's going to leave a mark.
Carnes is shaking that one off.
That's fouled backing up. Count remains 2-2 as Colton Carnes going to walk it off a little bit. As that one bounced down and up.
We've got a lot of exciting things coming up this next sports season too, Keith. So any of the fans that are watching or listening, make sure you go check out our YouTube channel.
Yeah.
YouTube.com/NETsn Live, and you can also follow us for any big announcements on our Twitter handle is NETsn_live, and lots of big things coming up. So stay tuned.
Bobo with the windup. Here's the pitch. And a good breaking ball, but it's too far outside. He put a little bit too much break into that one. So now it's a full count. Here's the pitch. And ball 4. Not the way you want to start. Putting Peyton Murray on the bag. That'll bring up Cameron Johnson to the plate as we got a courtesy runner over there. And I can't see the number. Pardon me. But we do want to thank everybody for watching and listening. Not just for tonight, but for the entire season.
Have a couple months off where we have football going.
I don't know what I'm going to do.
It'll be around
having to go to baseball games.
It'll be around the corner before we know it.
I know.
The countdown's under 90 days. There's like 85 or 84 days until baseball season. I mean football.
That's going to be in there for a strike. Good pitch by Bobo.
Got a couple new podcasts coming down the pipe. We've got our normal wrap-up show. Every Wednesday night during football season, we'll talk East Texas sports. Me, Corey, Vince, and Kyle Owens.
Breaks down for a bunt. But that one's going to be low and outside for a ball. Yeah, a lot of big things happen during football season. And excited to be a part of that.
This will be your first football season.
It'll be my first football season with you guys. Squares around for a bunt. Johnson does.
Not to forget about the Tuesday night volleyball action we're going to add this year.
Oh, yeah.
You're going to be doing that for us, Keith. Maybe Kyle will do some as well. And it'll be exciting. Another new sport to add to NETsn's lineup.
Oh, yeah. So you got to keep an eye out on that. We'll be looking at our schedules for that. That's squared around for a bunt, and it came inside on Johnson. He really did not have anywhere to go, and he kind of used the bat just to shield his face, and it flew backwards. So now the count's 2-2.
It was a straight back, kind of slow. Almost, it was kind of in slow motion.
Right.
Fouled back, and just saw it come back at us and hit the net. It's interesting. You don't see bunt attempts come back like that very often.
Right. And swung on and missed. And that strikes out Johnson, his first strikeout of the game. But that puts Dylan Armstrong, who's going to head up. And Armstrong is 2 for 3. He struck out his last time. Bobo sets, brings the pitch, and a good breaking ball, but too low, says the umpire. And throw over to first, not in time. Here's the pitch. That's going to be outside for a ball, so ball 2. 2-0 the count, 1 on, 1 out here in the top of the 7th. Just a little over 2 hours of play time. And the score is 7-2. The runner goes, and Carnes with the throw, and Kaufman couldn't keep hold of the ball, but it wouldn't have mattered. It was offline, and the runner made it to second with ease.
That's Alex Holt there, I believe.
So 3 balls, no strikes to Armstrong as Jace Bobo brings the pitch. That's going to be in there for a strike. Armstrong thought it was a ball, was making his way to first.
Not sure what he was looking at there.
Not really either, because that was obviously in the strike zone. Bobo set from the stretch. Checks the runner and brings the pitch. And that's going to be fouled back. So now he goes from 3 balls and no strikes to a full count.
Bobo's done a pretty good job since he came in. He allowed that one, well, it wasn't his run. He gave up that little blooper down the right field line and gave that 7th run, which won't be credited to him, but he's pretty much been pretty consistent here and came in and stopped the bleeding and giving his team a chance to stay in this game.
And Brett, I will tell you, we had some players. Oh, there's a hit. That's going to be.
Oh, nice dive.
And good job by Standridge to keep it in field, but a base hit nonetheless. And that puts runners at the corners. I was going to tell you, Brett, that just coming back from the bullpen, but the Wildcats had runners in the bullpen, or pitchers warming up in the bullpen, or one pitcher actually. I couldn't tell who it was, but they did have somebody up there.
If I was guessing, it's probably Hopkins, but we'll see.
Gage Schertz up to bat.
And it's not surprising because Armstrong was kind of fatigued there toward the end of last inning. Don't want to take any chances.
Go ahead, there for a strike.
Go ahead and shut the door on him if you have the chance, you know.
Right. Well, and you bring in a closer in this type of situation in normal things. You got to get a good arm in there. Runner goes. That's a fly back behind, foul ball, and now your runner has to head back over to first. And the ball gets thrown over and gets loose. And there is the situation.
Oh, throw.
Oh, good.
Got him.
Not him.
Oh, wow. I thought he had him, Keith. The tag must not have been a good one because it looked like he was there.
Yeah, I think he slid underneath the tag. He tagged him too high. Sanders did.
What a throw from Bragg. That was a great throw.
So the throw is a little high. Got away from Bragg, over there from Bobo to Bragg. Advanced the runners. A run came in.
Those little mistakes.
Yep. And that's a hit by pitch. And that puts Schertz on first. And there's runners at the corners with one out. Sounds familiar.
Yeah.
Carson Wallace, who had an RBI triple last inning, back up to the plate.
Yeah, he put it right at that, about that 360 sign out there in right center field.
Runner goes, and the hit and run was on, but that one's fouled back. So Shirt's going to have to come back. Bubba ready. Here's the pitch. That one's down low and outside for a ball. Ball one. Wallace steps in. Gets ready. Here's the pitch. Runner goes. And that's throw over to third as the runner, Gage, gets over to second. No play as the guy at third just kind of stands on the base, doesn't get off.
He's like, you're not getting me.
Yeah, I think he kind of expected that one. The pitch at the plate was a strike for Wallace, so 1 ball and 2 strikes for him. And runners on second and third. That's inside for a ball. So now the count is even at 2. Wallace steps in. Taking a bit to get it, but Bobo finally has it. And here's the pitch. That's outside, ball 3. That's a fly ball out of play for foul.
Headache. Oh, a couple of young boys up there in the stands will get that one.
Their count remains full.
Sitting up there by themselves.
Here's the pitch. That's going to be a hit, and that's going to be a base hit.
Oh,
a good job by Melton to keep it from being worse than it was, but another run comes across. And now the score is 9-2. Runners at the corners again. Still with just 1 out. And now Mason Clark.
Harleton just continues to do what they've been doing all series.
Just nickel and diamond.
Putting balls in play. And
Clark with an RBI last inning. Runner goes. And there is a throw, but it's going to be picked off in the middle. Bad execution on that. I think it was just a little bit on the outside. Carnes couldn't get his footing on that.
I think they were trying to maybe catch the third base.
Well, I think they were going to trying to catch him.
Cut it off and throw back.
Here's a pitch. That's outside, but it's called a strike. So 1-1 the count. And a good little breaking ball is hit in there in the inside corner for a strike. So 1 ball and 2 strikes.
I think Clark thought he was going to get hit there.
I think so too. But we know how he does. Kind of leans in. But you can't make it obvious.
You gotta.
That's the Mason Clark's goal of getting hit by a pitch. Here's a pitch by Bobo, and he swings at that one, fouls it back.
Ooh.
So 1 ball, 2 strikes, it will remain.
And breaking ball is really getting Clark. He's been fooled 2 times in a row. The first time he thought he was going to get hit, and it dropped back in for a strike. That time he thought it was going to be down the middle. That thing just took a dive down low, and he went chasing it.
Chase Bobo set. Here's the pitch. Outside, gets past Clark. There's going to be a play at the plate, but not in time as another run comes in.
That's that fast man again, Cage Shirts. He is speed out there in that field, bases and out there in center. It was going to have to be a perfect play to get him.
So runner now at third. Score is now 10-2. That's going to be fouled back out of play.
It's like Carnes is shaking up here behind the plate.
Yeah, something happened.
I'm not sure what happened there.
Well, I know he got hit earlier. One of the balls was fouled down and back, and I'm not sure if it hit him in the knee, but he might be cramping. I'm not quite sure.
Because I don't know that anything hit him on that play. It didn't look like it from our angle.
No, that one was fouled back and up, but he might have. I told you earlier, you know, it looked like he lost his footing on that throw earlier to throw to second. But he looks like he's stretching. He could be cramping up a little bit.
Got both coaches out. It's a classy move by Harleton. They're going to check on him as well. It's been a really good series as far as we hadn't had a lot of mouthing. Both teams have been
Great sportsmanship.
Yeah, it's been good sportsmanship between both schools. I mean, it's a really good representation of Douglas and Harleton communities out there, these young men.
I tell you what, while they're going to deal with them, let's just take a short little break real quick.
All right.
By Azalea Orthopedics. We're going to take a short break.
Struggling with mobility, chronic pain, work, or sports injury? At Azalea Orthopedics, our team of highly trained physicians specialize in complete orthopedic care, pain management, sports medicine, physical medicine, and rehabilitation. If you've sustained a bone or joint injury, have mobility or movement problems, struggle with pain, contact Azalea Orthopedics. We're conveniently located across East Texas, serving 18 counties. When visiting your doctor, urgent care, or hospital, you have a choice. Demand Azalea. At Azalea Orthopedics, your health is our priority.
So Carnes back up and around. Not really sure. I'm wondering if he just kind of got a catch or cramp or something.
I don't know. It may have stemmed from that where he got hit earlier, maybe just finally started
caught up
catching
to him.
Yeah.
Could have let him have some pitches there.
It would have taken me down for a couple of weeks probably.
Right, me too. Of course, I wouldn't be able to squat down and catch.
No, we're going to maybe kneel down, and it might only be for, maybe a
That's going to be tough for me anyway, yeah, he's doing fine now. So we're going to get back into play here. But you're right. As we were saying before we went to our little break, the sportsmanship has just been phenomenal. And I'm going to give kudos to both Harleton ISD and Douglas ISD for just the caliber of students and fans that they have that have been here. I haven't seen anything out of bounds or just some great sportsmanship. So good job by both school districts. That pitch is going to be fouled back as well. And I've done a lot of games this season and been with some good schools, and of course we've seen a lot of things on TV and heard a lot of stories from other schools. But good job to these two teams for the sportsmanship they have. 2-2 is still the count. That's going to be outside, however, and that'll make it a full count here. Still a runner at third. Still one out. And we're in the top of the 7th. That's going to be hit foul, straight down. And Harleton just is not going to go away. Here's the pitch. That's going to be outside for ball 4.
It's looking like they may go away, Keith. They may go away to Austin next week.
Right.
It's looking very...
Round Rock, here they come. Not going to make that call yet, but that's what they're thinking.
It's looking like
in their minds right now, and the coach is going to come out, and we might have another pitching change for the Indians.
See what he's got left.
Well, I mean, he's only at, yeah.
He's going to point to the second baseman. It's going to be Riley Kaufman.
Yeah, Riley Kaufman's going to come over and see what he can get done. See if he can finish out this inning.
So Bobo's going to go back and get his first base mitt, so we'll have a little more rotating around again.
So that'll probably put
Bragg usually plays
over at second or third.
Well, Bragg was third base last night.
So that put Melton back over or Standridge back over at second.
Yeah, it's a good get. It's a good
Bring
guess.
around the Rosie.
The score sheet's all messy. It's all right.
It happens. Been an interesting series here at Mike Carter Field. One thing I do like to see is nobody's leaving yet.
Oh yeah, both these teams they've driven out to see their team. They're going to leave till that final out is recorded. That's the way I like it. That's the way I am. I go watch my team.
Oh yeah.
We're losing 50-0. I'm just going to stay and watch. Don't leave early. These kids deserve it. They put a lot of effort in, a lot of time in this season, and the first 4 innings went pretty quickly, but
same way as last night.
Last few have kind of stalled out. You know,
the first 4 innings last night did the same way. They went by really fast, and the last few just kind of stalled and drug a little bit.
We're about probably around 2.5 hours here into this one.
So now we have a new pitcher. Sean Booth is going to be the batter for the Wildcats. And Kaufman is going to step in and see if he can get out of this inning for the Indians and give them an opportunity to close out this game and get some runs on the board. And here we go, back to baseball. Here's a pitch by Kaufman. Going to be in the dirt. Ball 1. From the stretch. Here's the windup. Runner goes. That's going to be out. And there's no play at the plate.
Kaufman
didn't come and cover. And another run scores. Now it's 11-2.
It's Wallace there on the run. Didn't even have to slide. He was
Two balls and no strikes. Here's the pitch. That's going to be in there. Good pitch by Kaufman. 2 balls and 1 strike now. And same pitch, but didn't get called. 3 balls and 1 strike. In there, strike. Full count. Runner on second, 1 out. 4 runs come through already in this inning. And that's going to be fouled back. And ball 4. So Booth walks again. And we've now up to Braden Hopkins. He'll step in.
It's almost batted around again, Keith.
Yeah, we're close. We're about 2 away.
Second straight inning here if they were able to do that. Still have 2 outs left to pick up for Douglas.
That's inside. Ball 1.
I just want to say that, you know, no matter how the score ends up here, it's not really indicative of how competitive the series was. There's things there's little things here and there that have separated the two teams, and it's just, you know, those little things make a big difference. So, I mean, Douglas has nothing to hang their hat on. I mean, there's a lot of teams that have been beat by Harleton this season.
Right. And, yeah, I agree wholeheartedly. And Douglas has played a heck of a series. That's going to be down low for a ball. So 2-1 now the count.
And a couple of plays last night, and Harleton could be playing for just to extend to Game 3. So, I mean, shout out to both programs. It's been a really competitive series.
That's straight up the middle, but it's going to go over. And 6-4-3 double play does end that inning. Good job by the Indians. And 4 runs come across by the Wildcats. It's 11-2. We're heading to the bottom of the 7th. The final opportunity for the Indians to get something on the board and maybe rally to get this thing going. And we're going to take a short break, get ourselves prepared for this bottom of the 7th, and see what we can get going for the Indians here. We'll be right back from Mike Carter Field. Don't go away.
Struggling with mobility, chronic pain, work, or sports injury? At Azalea Orthopedics, our team of highly trained physicians specialize in complete orthopedic care, pain management, sports medicine, physical medicine, and rehabilitation. If you've sustained a bone or joint injury, have mobility or movement problems, struggle with pain, contact Azalea Orthopedics. We're conveniently located across East Texas, serving 18 counties. When visiting your doctor, urgent care, or hospital, you have a choice. Demand Azalea. At Azalea Orthopedics, your health is our priority.
And we are back. We have a pitching change for the Wildcats as Braden Hopkins is coming in. Brett, tell me about Braden.
Braden Hopkins is 7-0 in the season with a 0.37 ERA, 41 strikeouts, only 15 walks in 37 innings pitched. Pretty good.
Pretty good numbers there.
Yeah, I'd say he's a pretty good pitcher.
So, going to be interesting. Drew Bobo is going to be leading things off, however, for the Indians. So they're at the top of the lineup against this pitcher. Fresh arm, however, for the Wildcats. Be interesting to see how the Indians do. Bobo steps in, and here's the first pitch. It's going to catch that outside corner for strike 1.
And Hopkins also a lefty. So it's going to change it up a little bit as
yes.
You know, the previous pitcher, Armstrong, was
a little bit different look. Another one on that outside corner.
And he's throwing some heat, Keith.
2 straight fastballs, both catching that outside corner. And Bobo's watched both go by. And Drew getting ready. That's going to be inside, kind of that, Drew Bobo.
He almost watched his life pass him by there as he almost got beamed with one.
Drew steps in. Hopkins at the windup. Here's the pitch. And that's pop fly back out of play.
Let's talk about some alignment changes, Keith. Bringing Hopkins in. He slides over from first. That's going to bring Carson Wallace now is playing first base. I'm not sure who's out now in left field. That's a long way away. I'm not sure who's out there, but.
And a great breaking ball, but no call.
Whew.
That one looked like it was going to.
See, Dylan Armstrong is now on third base. And, of course, he replaces Caden Skaggs. I'm not sure where Skaggs ended up.
That's a blooper straight back up to Hopkins. Hopkins is going to get it over to Wallace, and Wallace is going to get that first out. As it's a 1-3 put out to start the bottom of the seventh, and the Indians down to their final 2 outs. Andy Melton, lefty on lefty here. And love seeing the fans of, pardon me, love seeing the fans of Douglas giving a big round of applause for the players. Melton steps in. Hopkins with the windup and the pitch. That swung on. Ooh. Foul tip back.
Man.
Strike one. Good heat.
With a gun on that Hopkins.
Yeah, well, he stands at about 6'3".
He's a big kid.
I'm guessing, but that's a big boy.
He's throwing some. Ooh.
That's a good breaking ball. It looked like it went over the plate.
It looks like it almost coming straight at you and take like a nosedive.
It does. What they call fall off that table. 1-1 the count. Here's a pitch. That's going to be fouled back for strike 2. Here's the windup in the pitch. Swung on, missed. Strike 3. And now the Indians are down to their final out of the season. And Peyton Bragg is going to step in. And it all comes down to this. As Hopkins looks in with the windup, and here's the pitch. That's going to be low for a ball. Here's the pitch, and another one that's low. 2 balls and no strikes. Here's the windup by Hopkins. That's swung on, foul back. So 2 balls and 1 strike now. And Hopkins looks in, gets the sign. Here's the windup, kicks the leg, and that one straight down the middle. And Harleton fans are now on their feet.
2-2-2. 2 balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs, Keith.
And this could be it. And here's the pitch. Swung, and it's over. Foul ball is called.
They got a foul. They made they made the play anyway, but it was foul.
They made the play, went through the motions, but didn't come out as Armstrong.
These fans over here are ready to explode.
Right, they're ready. They're on their feet.
They're probably on their phones, getting ready to make their hotel reservations.
Right.
Here we go.
And it all comes down to this. Here's the kick and the fire inside ball. Ooh. So now we have a full count, 3 balls, 2 strikes to Peyton Bragg. Big breath by Braden Hopkins. Here's the pitch. That's a big hit.
And it's our man again.
Here he is.
He started the game with the out, and he finishes it, Key.
Yes, he did. Round Rock, make room for the Harleton Wildcats because they're heading your way next week. And that's the ball game.
Wow, what an impressive showing by Harleton. They played an excellent Douglas team, and just, I mean, today they just took it to them. I mean, it really was. I mean, there was times in the game where Douglas had chances to take advantage. They didn't. When Harleton had chances, they took advantage of it. Man, they just took them out to the woodshed at 11-2.
And like you said earlier, Douglas has no reason at all to
No,
hang
they
their
lost
heads.
to an excellent team
They did.
who has an excellent chance of bringing a state title home to East Texas.
Oh,
Keith.
yeah. I mean, if you're going to lose a game, and I've always been this way, if you're going to lose a game to somebody who is that good.
Yeah.
And lose a game to somebody who has the every chance, in my opinion, just like you said, that's going to go home and bring home a title.
They've got the bats.
Yeah.
They've got the pitching to do it.
And I don't see anybody else that can stand in the way, looking at what I looked at. But again, Douglas, and if you're listening, you're from Douglas, or you have fans or friendly or family at Douglas, they had nothing at all to hang their head. They played excellent series. They've had a fantastic season, and
I'm just honored that we got to call this game.
Exactly.
Keith.
I have seen great athletes, student athletes on both sides of the ball. I have seen fantastic fans. I have seen wonderful sportsmanship on both sides of the ball, and it has been a privilege and an honor to be able to call this game and these teams. And congratulations to Douglas for a fantastic season, and great job for them. And congratulations to Harleton as the celebration begins and will continue on their way to Austin and Round Rock next week. And like you said, reservations are going to be held.
Yep, they've got some reservations. And this is a tremendous way to cap off our coverage this season. And like we said, we wanted to thank everybody for following us. Whether you've watched or listened to one game or 25, we appreciate you. Big things are coming with Northeast Texas Sports Network. We got a lot of things being announced over the next few months, so stay tuned. If you're interested in sponsoring us, we'd love to. We got our title sponsor Azalea already in with us, so follow them, jump in with us, and this will be
and not bad
season
for an
2.
Inaugural season.
Yeah,
for
season
baseball.
1, and we drug Keith out of the booth, and now he's in the booth with us now. So
drug me off the PA system and put me in a headset here.
Got him addicted. Starting buying things to go to make this broadcast. And like I said,
you don't need to tell my wife.
That's okay. And so he did a great job this season with baseball. I'm just here to help. But you carried baseball. I'm not sure how many games you did this season, but
I don't know.
I would rather to say it was probably in the 30 range,
30 to 40 range,
somewhere, maybe close to 40. So, but everything went well. Like I said, we appreciate everybody, and man, this has been an incredible season. We started the season and wouldn't expect it, but I would gather we probably did somewhere in the longs of 130 to 150 games in just year one, and it's only going to get more and more as we, always add new people and new crews. So
and stick with us next year.
Yeah.
Go ahead and like and subscribe. Stick with us next year. We got more to come next year. A lot more sports, a lot more action, and a lot more of our entertaining voices and time and funniness and dad jokes and whatever else we can throw at you.
Yeah.
We're not your normal broadcasting place here. We don't do the regular old stuff that gets done.
You get a shout out to all the rest of our team. You got CM Corey Marshall, Vincent Johnson. We got JD coming in doing some stuff with us this year from their That's So Dope podcast. We've got, of course, KO, Kyle Owens, and JT Jeremy Titsworth. Jeremy's moving off to Dallas, but hopefully we'll get to have him help us out when he can. We, of course, Rob and intern Claire weren't able to hear Claire with us today.
She's already told me she wants to help out more when she can.
And our Tyler Paper correspondent, Brandon Ogden, joined us this year a little bit. Shout out to him.
The man, the myth, the legend.
Of course, Grant and Terry and those guys at L4 Media, which, we'll be doing a lot of things with them in the coming years. And just everybody that helped make this happen. This is not a one-man show here. We have a team, and it's a pretty great one. I'm proud to be in charge of.
So it's been a great season. Hey, and we appreciate you, the listeners and the watchers, for all that you do. You can always go back and look at all of our entertaining stuff that we have throughout the seasons on our YouTube channel, youtube.com/NETsn Live. That's going to do it for us here at Mike Carter Field. Again, congratulations to Douglas for a fantastic season, and way to go. We wish Harleton the best of luck out in Round Rock at the next week, I guess, when they go on to the next round.
We'll try to share that information. If you follow our Twitter, we get some information on the game times and such. We'll try to share that out for you guys.
So, all right. Well, for Bret Sweeney, I'm Keith Whitman here at Mike Carter Field. That's going to do it for us here. That's going to do it for us for the season as we close things out. We will see you at football time in East Texas. Y'all have a great summer. Be safe. Have fun. We're out of here.